Down. Find a bed.
Small, watch the clock ticking off the wall, but tonight I'm letting it go. Spend my coin for sure. I'm gonna be myself, or I could be someone else. No one's stopping me now. I'm gonna skip my breaks, I'm gonna make mistakes. I just wanna feel alive. It's just what I do when I'm out, so try not to hold me down. Feel alive when I'm in this town. Look at those beautiful stars. I wanna drive a faster car. Nothing can break me, no, no, nothing can break me. Try not to hold me down. Feel alive when I'm in this town. Look at those beautiful stars. I wanna take a trip to Mars. Nothing can break me, no, no, nothing can break me. Look at those beautiful stars. I wanna drive a faster car. Lay my troubles to rest. Blow the smoke through my cigarette. City lights looking fine, and I know this is my time now. I'm gonna be myself, or I could be someone else. No one's stopping me now. I'm gonna skip my breaks, I'm gonna make mistakes. I just wanna feel alive. It's just what I do when I'm out, so try not to hold me down. Feel alive faster car. I'm gonna be myself. I'm gonna be someone else. I'm gonna be myself. I'm gonna be someone else. I'm gonna skip my breaks. I'm gonna make mistakes. I'm gonna skip my breaks. I'm gonna make mistakes. I'm gonna be myself. I'm gonna be someone else. I'm gonna be myself. I'm gonna be someone else. I'm gonna skip my breaks. I'm gonna make mistakes. I'm gonna skip my breaks. I'm gonna make mistakes. Try not to hold me down. Feel alive when I'm in this town. Look at those beautiful stars. I wanna drive a faster car. Nothing can break me. No, no, nothing can break me. Try not to hold me down. Feel alive when I'm in this town. Look at those beautiful stars. I wanna take a trip to Mars. Nothing can break me. No, no, nothing can break me.
Work is almost over, summer's getting closer. No time to be sober, sunshine on my shoulders. I'm alive and breathing, living my best life. Love is on my mind and it's making me high. I'm staying in this moment, though it's hard sometimes, but I work it out every once in a while. I feel the love, I feel it growing every day. I feel the love, I feel the love. I hope it never goes away. I feel the love, love, love. Feel the love, I feel the love. I feel the love, I feel the love. I feel the Baby, what's your number? I wanna go under. Making you a memory, that's really all I need. I'm alive and breathing, living my best life. Love is on my mind and it's making me high. I'm staying in this moment, though it's hard sometimes, but I work it out every once in a while. I feel love, I feel love, I feel Whispering soft, alluring signs, wrapping you around my finger, gently touch, full of spell, blinding you into another, sneaking around, hunt and prey, to find me another lover. Behind closed doors, an empty space, we're in a secret love encounter. I'm a lonely heart, heart feline. I take what's mine, then I leave behind. I'm a lonely heart, heart feline.
I take what's mine and I leave behind.
on before the night is over. Don't lose your faith, keep it straight. I'm nothing like any other. I'm a lonely heart, heart feline. I take what's mine, then I leave behind. I'm a lonely heart, heart feline.
I take what's mine and I leave behind.
What your heart's been told, and I'm not sure that I can tell much more. Lonely heart, heart feline. I take what's mine, then I leave behind. I'm a lonely heart, heart feline. I take what's mine, then I leave behind. I'm a lonely heart, heart feline. I take what's mine, then I leave behind. I'm a lonely heart, heart feline.
I take what's mine and I leave behind.
Lonely heart, heart.
Show me life, show me love. Make a change, time is up. We can wait for better days, but the days won't come. Show me life, show me love. Show me life, show me love. Make a change, time is up. We can wait for better days, but the days won't come. Show me life, show me love. This is all we got. Show me life, show me love. This is all we got. Show me love, show me love. This is all we got. Show me show me love. This is all we got. Show me love. This is all we got. Show me love. Show me life. Show me love. This is all we got. Sometimes life will push you down, make you fall onto the ground. But I know you will turn it around. Oh, this is all we got. And I know you'll make mistakes, get interference and lose your way. Find the light when it rains. Oh, this is all we got. Show me life, show me love. Make a change, time is up. We can wait for better days, but the days won't come. Show me life, show me love. Show me life, show me love. Make a change, time is up. We can wait for better days, but the days won't come. Show me life, show me love. This is all we got. Show me life, show me love. This is all we got. 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 Show me love. Show me life. Show me love. This is all we got.
What's your story? What's your sign? It's like we're twin flames in a different life. Deep connection lights a spark. It's like you know me in the depths of my heart. We're dreamers. Don't care what other people say. We're living like this could be our final day. We're dreamers. Don't care what the others say. We're doing this in our own way. We come alive in the nighttime. Something about how we dance in the moonlight. That look in your eyes, it tells me that you want me and all my loving. We come alive in the nighttime. You and I, we come alive. We come alive. We come alive. What's your weakness? What's your type? Somehow I wanna know all about you. Deep connection lights a spark. You already know me when we dance in the dark. We're dreamers. We're living. We're dreamers. We're doing this in our own way. We come alive in the nighttime. Something about we touch, I forget all the endings inside my head. And I rise out of lies. Tonight we'll get there, back to heaven. Living with passion, I live with stars. I keep my head steady, but feet out of the ground. I like it lushy, my lips so smooth. Baby boy, join me if you want to. We got jumpsuits in glitter and red, favorite breakfast and puppies in bed. We got it all. Tonight we party, we got it all. If you ask, will I trust? I said maybe it's your call. Take a chance with this romance. I've only lenses to see we're quite a catch. See, my love's a vacation. I've been good and patient, but becoming real good letting go. I can never fake this. Can't read us in the matrix. Now it's time for you to show. Living with passion, I live with stars. I keep my head steady, but feet out of the ground.
Today we're in the company of a phenomenal success story. Dean Graziosi is a multimillionaire.
Your ability and desire to influence so many people in such unanimously positive ways is truly inspiring.
You don't have a heart-centered reason on why the hell you want it. It's why everybody gives up on the 5-yard line.
It's entrepreneurs like Dean that are helping make the world a better place.
He is a source of just incredible information.
1 million books sold total.
Living legend.
Hundreds of millions of dollars in sales.
His takeaways have been inspiring so many people.
It's reaching millions of people online.
One of the biggest names in the history of this segment.
When I first met Dean, I just got to know his heart and his soul, and it's like, felt like my brother.
Impacted so many lives.
Sometimes it takes someone seeing in you what you don't even see in yourself. The man changed my life.
Thank you, Dean.
Thank you, Dean.
Thank you so much, Dean.
I really do appreciate it.
Give it up for my partner, dear friend, Dean Graziosi, everybody. Give it up for him.
What's going on? Look at Maddie Lamb this morning. Hey, Amy. What's going on? Elaine and Alex. What's up, Christy? Hey, Mervin and Nancy and Chuck. Crystal Wong, you're always rocking it out. What's up, Patrick? Looking sharp as always. Howard, always here first. Jesse, what's going on? Excuse the voice. I'm trying to imitate Tony Robbins today. No, I'm just kidding. What's going on, everybody? Good to see you. Hey, Dave Williams, what's up? Donatella. I see everybody. I see so many familiar faces. I see new faces. Welcome, welcome. Got a little cold, but I'm solid, feeling amazing. Just the voice isn't doing so great. So I got some tea. We might have a little, it sounds like I'm going through puberty. That was quite some time ago, but I'm back. So Brian McLean, be careful driving. Randy Johnson, good to see you. Hey, everybody. Welcome, welcome to New Year's strategy session. Here's a cool part. I'm so glad you're joining me today. I know it's a Saturday. You guys probably have had other things planned. I first off want to say thanks for hanging out with me today. You know, about 13 years ago, I realized the first week of January, I do always set my goals for the year. I don't set New Year's resolutions. Most people do that. And when are New Year's resolutions done usually? By February 15th, right? We're right past it. We're on to our next thing, right? I see you, Joseph Smith, right? So about 14 years ago, I just sent an email to our family. Just so you know, everybody here is a part of our family. You're either here as you're already a member of Mastermind. What's up, Mastermind family? Or you're already a part of our email newsletter. So we didn't even post one bit of advertising. We invited our family members, and heck, we have already 5,000 people from over 100 countries here right now. That'll even grow, which is amazing. Welcome. So about 12, 13 years ago, I was going to set my goals the first week of January, and I just sent out an email to everybody in our family and said, hey, I'm going to set goals on Saturday. Do you want to do it with me? And oh my God, thousands and thousands of people showed up, and I had the time of my life setting goals, going through the things that I go through anyway. And it was so much fun. I haven't missed a year in 14 years or 13 years, whatever it is. And I want to say thanks for joining me. It's evolved a lot over the years. Foundationally, not much. I went back today and I looked at a New Year's event I did 10 years ago. And it's about 60% the same, but you know, if we're not climbing, we're sliding. If we're not growing, we're dying. So it has evolved. So I'm really glad you're here with me today because I think, you know, I think every year is a year where we could start fresh. We can let go of past regrets or delays or past procrastination or past failures. We can empower the things we did good on. We could just eliminate the crap that didn't work. And it's a time to kind of anchor in and set a year up for success. And that's what I want to do today. I want to get beyond the New Year's resolutions. I want to get beyond just hope. I want to get beyond dreaming. And I think, why not make this year the year you declare it's on us, that we can do this, that connected, what can't we do? So I just want to say thank you. Thank you for being here. Thank you for having some fun. We're going to go, I'll probably go 2 hours and 45 minutes to 3 hours. Who's committed to staying the whole time? Yeah, I mean, if you think about it, is 3 hours worth having the year of your life? That year that you remember in 5 years from now, right? And I also want to say this. There might be some stuff that I share today that you're like, I know that. Then I want to be your reminder service. Because so many times I use the joke, right? I know that if I stop eating dessert and I go to the gym one more day a week, I know I'll be even better shape. I know it. Doesn't mean I'm actually doing it. I'm going to this year. But my whole point is there might be some things today that I share. Cheryl, I see you laughing, right? There might be some things I share today that you go, oh, I've heard that before. But you know what I want you to say as soon as you hear that? Can you promise me? But am I actually doing it? There's a big difference of knowing it and doing it. I've had people say that to me for years. Oh, I know that one. Then why the heck aren't you doing it? So instead of beating yourself up, today's the day I want you to hear it and go, I'm going to put that into my life. So let me tell you how this is going to break down today. I'm first going to share, I went through and I looked over the last, I've been self-employed. You ready for this? This is my 40th year. At 16, I started a firewood business. And man, I used to say I've been self-employed for like 20 years. And I like started thinking about it. I'm like, oh my gosh, at 17, I got my own apartment and I was funding myself through firewood business and fixing cars and flipping cars and all that crazy stuff. But this is my 40th year of being an entrepreneur, 40th year of trying to be a better man, a better human, a better partner to all of you, to be a better dad, to grow businesses, impact others, and live into my full potential. I think that's all we really want to do. Isn't it true? Don't we just want to be the best version of ourselves without this crap getting in our way, without life getting in our way, old habits getting in our way, old beliefs getting in our way? That's all I want to share with you today is what are those things that have unlocked another level of me? Not like, look at me, I can do anything. No, they're just fundamental principles. So I looked back, 10 years ago, I had 10 life lessons. This year, they've shifted a bunch. And there was 14. I had to give you 14. But I want to share with you, these 14 life lessons, it doesn't mean you shift your whole life. I see you, Danette. Good to see you, Lynn and Paula and Orlando. It means these are subtle little shifts. These are like the small hinges that can swing a big door. You've heard me say that before. So as I give you these, as we go through these 14, I don't want you to think, oh, I got to do every one. It's like, no, these are the subtle shifts, and you can incorporate them into your life any way you see fit. So I'm going to share those 14. I'm probably going to break it up in the middle, and I'm going to share with you the one thing that I believe every one of you should be doing to create impact, income, and purpose in 2025. You guys okay if I share what I believe is the number one thing you guys all should do? So I'm going to share that as well. And then we're going to set goals that stick. That's what I just like to share. Not New Year's resolutions, but there's a process. I did it with my kids last Sunday. There's a process that I believe shifts everything on making a goal become a reality rather than just a really good thought. Like I love vision boards. Who's ever done a vision board? Raise your hand if you've ever done a vision board, right? But it's like, I want a vision board on steroids. Like, a vision board is great, but if we don't set a plan, if we don't anchor emotions to that, it just becomes something that curls up by the end of the year, gets dust, and you look at it and go, oh, I did all these things, let's do it again, but you didn't actually accomplish the things on it. I want to get to the end of the year and go, crap, I did them all, right? And then lastly, I'm going to end it. I'm going to give you what I'm calling my newest success system. It's my newest secret weapon. It's something I've never shared before. I'm going to end it today that I think is the best way to describe it is right now I have 150 employees in one company and 300 employees in another company. And as you grow, I have to learn to be a different kind of leader. This company's growing, right? We're in 100 and something countries. We're all over the world. I have to be a better version of me. If I'm the same guy I was last year, then I'm not doing you a service. It's the same thing with my team and same with me. How does my thoughts have to evolve? How do I get more crystal clear? How do I stop the ADD or being fragmented with my thoughts? And how do I get things done quicker and schedule them? So I've geeked out on about 7 books in the last 3 months. And a couple of them just really hit my soul. And I took my 40 years of an entrepreneur, where we are in the world right now, and I created a way where I think can allow us to go quicker and faster no matter where you are. Thinking of doing your own thing? Great, this will help you. Doing your own thing and you're a solopreneur? This will help you. Have employees? This will help you. So you guys ready to, I'm saving it for last, so don't dare miss that one. All right, so today, I want you to picture today. I know sometimes we do not sometimes, we'll do events with lots of energy, and I want to have great energy today, right? If Tony comes on, we need to blow the roof off, right? Like you got to be in state, you got to be moving, shoulders back. I want all that energy, but I just want to let you know, today I want to picture like we're at a coffee shop, all of us. Well, there's 7,000 of us now, so it's a pretty big coffee shop. But there's 7,000 of us hanging out at a coffee shop, and we're just gonna set goals that stick. So that's how I want to approach it. I'm gonna be really casual. I might go to the whiteboard, I might not. I don't have any slides. I got my journal with all my notes, and you guys ready for this? You guys ready for it? Awesome. All right, so let's start with, we're going to do the 14 life lessons. I'm going to do 7. That's how I figure I'm break it down. I'm going to do 7. Then I'm going to share what you should be doing in 2025. I believe it'll give you a leg up. And then I'll do the other 7, and we'll keep going from there. Number 1. You guys ready? All right, somebody on my team can jot them in. Number 1, audit your inner circle. Audit your inner circle. Now, this is one of those reminder services, guys. You all know this. You've heard probably Tony Robbins or Jim Rohn or Dale Carnegie, if you ever geeked out on the old self-education guys, say you are the sum total of the 5 people you hang around, right? Diane, you've heard that before. But I like to start each year off to really audit my inner circle, to really see, you know, some of the things I thought about when I was thinking of you guys today is there are some people that you are around that you make excuses for your crazy goals. You say, I want to do this, but, you know, I know it might not work. And yeah, I know I'm a little old to do this, or I know there's competition, or there, yeah, technology stuff. And I really want you to think about, I'm not telling you to throw these people out or call them names, but do you guys find yourself making excuses for your goals around anyone in your life? Raise your hand if you think you water them down a little bit. You don't want to say, this is who I am, this is what I'm doing, because you're afraid of their reaction, right? Just start thinking through those little goals. I've shared this before, but I had a dear friend named Sean Stevenson. They used to call him the 3-foot giant. He was born, look at all the people saying, yes, me too, myself, I do it, wow. Yeah, I get it. I definitely do it, Dean. I don't do it anymore. Stephanie, boom, amazing. Sean Stevenson was born with a rare disease where his bones would break. He broke 170 bones in his body by the time he passed away when he was 40. But they told his parents he wouldn't live 18 months. And he lived till 40 years old, and silly how his life ended. He was trying out an experimental wheelchair that was way off the ground so he could be eye level with people, and the darn thing flipped over, and he lost his life. But he became an incredible friend. He was one of those guys that was 3 foot tall in a wheelchair, and when you talked to him for 10 minutes, it just disappeared, and you pictured him 6 foot tall, right? He was, I got to tell you a funny story. He'd speak on my stages. For those of you who've been with my family for a long time, maybe a decade ago, he'd speak on my stages. He'd come out, and he'd wheel back and forth in his wheelchair, and he'd say, Dean thinks he's all cool. Tony thinks he's great because people look at him, and maybe you think you're cool. He goes, maybe you walk in a restaurant, and you're feeling good that day, and a couple people check you out, and you're thinking, I look good today. He said, let me tell you something, boys. When I go into a restaurant, everybody looks at me. Like that was his personality. How could you not, like, he says that and you're like, I'm a fool. Like, I should be so grateful, so blessed. Like, this was his attitude. And the audience would laugh and just roar at this guy. He was so good. I miss him, but I'm also so grateful that he was in my life. But I have to tell you, one day he said to me, and if you've heard me say this before, then hear it again today. He said, don't dare dim your glow to match the people around you. He said, you were born to be a bright light. Shine. I have goosebumps. I have goosebumps. He said, shine. Shine. And I want to share that with you because sometimes we don't realize we lower our energy. We lower our expectations. We lower our goals because maybe some people around us are satisfied or they're scared. We're all scared. Heck yeah. Who's scared to live into the next version of themselves? Raise your hand if you're scared to do it. Of course. Faraday, good to see you, man. Great to have you here. Right? Of course. It is scary, but you chose to be here. You're here on a Saturday. There is a million things you could do. Some of you up over 100 countries right now, over almost 10,000 people. Some of you are up in the middle of the night. Some of you it's early in the morning. Some of you it's super late. Amy, I know you're up in the middle of the night to be here with us. Amazing. That means that you aren't dimming your glow, that you've chosen you, that you know it's not the easy path, but it's the best path. So I want to not only congratulate you, but I want to tell you, sometimes you have to turn the light up so bright that it does push some people away in the short term. But it also attracts the right people in your life. Here's what I know. In this journey of wanting to be the best version of me, I've lost some friends. I had friends that said, you're a dreamer. You're biting off more than you can chew. Why do you work so much? Shouldn't you just be happy? When, ready for this one? When is enough enough? Like, that's icky, isn't it? Danette, isn't that like icky feeling? Like, when is enough? I don't know. How many lives can I impact? I don't want to stop impacting lives. How far can I go? And sometimes those people have exited from my life, Karen. And it's like God sees it, the universe, whatever your beliefs are. And all of a sudden, it left room for the right person to come in your life. That when you say, I'm expecting here, they're like, that's all? I think you could go here. Like, I have to tell you, I'm the luckiest man alive. My wife is the type where I have the craziest goals. I mean, if I shared with you some of the goals I have for the next 12 months, you would think I'm insane. And my wife will look at them and go, "You being a little conservative?" I'm like, I'm gonna knock you out, right? She empowers me to think bigger, stronger. In the past, I've been in relationships where, oh, come on, are you really gonna push that hard again? Do you really need that? So I'm only sharing this because I don't want you to turn down your light. You know, the other thing I want to share is sometimes, without realizing it, you're always hoping that other person in your life gets you. Like you're waiting for the day to go, oh, I get it, Krissa. I get it, Nancy. You just want more. I'm so proud of you. Glad you're working with Tony and Dean. Glad you're a part of that family. Awesome, right? You're just waiting for that. And sometimes we're trying to convince people of that. And Trent Shelton did it the best. Who's watched Trent Shelton through the years on my stages? Isn't he just freaking awesome? Do you remember when he said, God, that's his belief, whatever your beliefs are, gave you a set of glasses with your own prescription. And when you put them on, you could see 20/20 on where your future could be. But your prescription doesn't match other people. So when you put them on a family member, a sister, sometimes a spouse or somebody, a coworker, they see it and they're like, I can't even see, this is crazy. So his whole point is, it's your prescription. It was downloaded into you. It's your goals. It's your dreams. Don't wait for somebody else to get it. And when you look through that lens, then you could just shift. There's some people that you love dearly that still can't see through your lenses. That's cool. Shift your conversation. I'm going to end this first one. I went a little deeper on this one. I'm going to end the first one with audit your inner circle. The last one is maybe you got to stop waiting for permission from them. And look in the mirror today and say, let's go. Because the only person you need permission from is you. Good. Number one, you guys get it? I know it was a reminder. So number one was audit your inner circle. Number two, solve bigger problems. You know, I think there's an illusion or a falsity that the more successful you get, problems go away. And I think, yeah, look at everybody shaking their head, right? Randy Johnson, I see you, right? No, problems don't go away. We have to get better at solving bigger problems. I know for a fact, if I'm in a room with successful people, if I'm at a table, I just happened to have a great dinner up in Utah, I don't know, a week ago, and I was happened to be in a room with some really great people. I was in Salt Lake City. I flew from here, Michael Phelps, the swimmer, with 28 gold medals or 28 medals, 21 of them gold. He lives here. I invited him to the dinner with me. He said yes. So we flew on the plane together, had to talk to him the whole way up. It was so cool talking to somebody who's just such a high-level athlete, right? And he was talking about his problems and how he overcame them. And I get in the room with these successful people. They were talking about the problems and how they overcome it. And I know when I'm in a room of successful people, the person that can solve the biggest problems is the most successful in the room. So it's just a shift in your mindset. It's like, I think we want to think, if I got successful, problems go away. It's like, no. I'm going to become a better version of me. So I'm the one that solves the problems. Like when stuff goes sideways and somebody goes, I don't know what to do, you go, watch out. This is on me. Give me it. Like if you, I know it sounds really simple, but if you shift the direction, the framing, the context of a challenge, right? Instead of calling it a problem, you call it a challenge, and you're a challenge, you're up for the challenge, you're up to solve problems, then you become bring it to me. And then all of a sudden you start looking forward to it. There's a great book by Michael Schwartzman who started Blackstone, not BlackRock, but Blackstone. Great book, and he said, the most successful people find areas and industries that are kind of hard to solve, and they go attack it, because everybody takes the low-hanging fruit, right? There's so much competition in easy businesses, but there's hardly any competition in tough businesses because nobody wants to do it. He said, I just trained myself to look for the biggest problem and go after it. You know, I think of it this way. I've trained myself over the years on this one, but my wife will laugh at me, because we'll go to dinner, and if I order medium rare steak, and they bring me well-done fish, I just eat it. I don't say it. It's like, aren't you going to say something? I'm like, no. I got way bigger things to solve. Fish is okay. Maybe I should have less cholesterol. I don't know. Maybe I was supposed to have fish, right? When I see somebody, did you ever swerve? Totally your fault. You go to switch lanes. You look in the mirror. You check the blind spot, but still you didn't see the person. You start to go over and you hear the horn. And you're like, oh, damn, that was my bad. My bad. And you're like, my bad, my bad. And the person goes by and happens to use one finger on their hand, screaming, eyes like bloodshot already, veins popping out of their head. And I'm like, sorry. When I see that, I'm like, wow, that person needs to solve bigger problems. Like I didn't hit him. I swerved 8 inches. And it was like I cut their freaking kids' legs off. Like literally solve bigger problems. So start thinking the next time something little bugs you. Elaine, I see you getting this. Great last name, Elaine Nightingale. Love Earl Nightingale. So when you start thinking through that lens, the little stuff doesn't bug you anymore, because the way I look at it is we only have so much time in a day, correct? We only have a certain amount of energy, correct? So if I spend it pissed off at the waitress for messing up my order, or mad at the person that cut me off, or mad at every little thing that comes in, I don't have time to solve bigger problems, therefore I don't have time to be successful. So raise the threshold. When something's going wrong, instead of going, oh, I'm not going to deal with that, go, give me it. And the last thing I'll tell you on this one, you know, I remember one of my first real estate deals when I didn't have much money. And it was the opportunity for me to make a good chunk of money. I don't remember how much it was. I don't know if it was $5,000, $10,000, $100,000. You know, money was different back then. $1,000, $15,000 was, might as well have been $1 million 30 years ago, right? But I remember one of my first deals and the stress I went through. The husband didn't want to sell. The wife did want to sell. I went to dinner with them and they were yelling at each other about, yes, sell, don't sell. I mean, months and months and using credit cards. I didn't have enough money to buy the property, so I applied for 6 different credit cards all at the same time. Because if you didn't do it at the same time, if they checked each other's credit, they'd see that I was applying for all these credit cards and get denied. So I put them all in the mail at the same time. I got approved at 5 of them. I did cash advance the same day on all of them, pulled out like 80 grand in cash. All this stuff I was going through. And I remember the stress of getting that done. And then I've also been blessed to sign deals that make me $25 million with one pen stroke. And I had to put work, energy, and effort into that. And I looked at it about 3 years ago and I'm like, you know what? It was the same level of stress. It was the same stress to worry about $1,000 or $10,000 as it was for $25 million. And I don't say like, look at me. It's been years, right? I've had 40 years to get this right. But I'm like, if I'm gonna be stressed by a deal, then let's add a couple of zeros. right? Like, if you're gonna freak out, Joseph, I see you laughing. Amanda, like, I might as well add some zeros. And here's the cool part about that. Most people don't. When you add a couple of zeros, you don't have any competition. Because most people can't think that big. Most like, no, that's for other people. No, it's not. It's for the people who say, I'm gonna do it. Does that make sense? So who's ready to solve some bigger problems? Right? And that's number 2. Number 3, it's on me. It's on me. That's something I like to repeat to myself a lot, especially when things aren't going perfect, is no one is coming to save you. If you can live by that philosophy, that no one's coming to save you, and you take complete ownership of what goes right and what goes wrong, it would never be anybody on this screen. I could see hundreds of you, and now we're at over 10,000 people. Amazing. Love having you here. It's not any of you. But does anyone know someone, when things go right, it's on them? Oh my God, I accomplished this. And then when it fails, it's someone else's fault. It's the president, it's the economy, it's their coworker, it's the senator, it's my husband, right? Maureen, I see you laughing, right? Because you know, you're thinking of that exact person right now. Look at all I did. Yay, I'm amazing. It didn't work out. Oh, I'm not saying anything, but you know. Here's what I know. Man, life gets good when you just say it's on me. It goes well, on me. Goes bad, on me. It's beyond liberating. I mean, it's beyond anything. It is completely liberating, I should say, to just say, I got to take control of this. Listen, when COVID hit and Tony asked me to come over and help switch his company, his in-person company, to a virtual company so it could be like this all over the world, right? It was difficult to go over and inherit 300 employees over there and have my 130 employees here at Mastermind that Tony and I have here and try to run both. I was the CEO of both companies, right? I have to tell you, I slacked a little bit on my leadership here at Mastermind for about a year trying to figure out, and it was right in the middle. We had a baby, we had COVID, I'm running 2 companies trying to figure it all out. And we had a good year, but not the year we could have had as a company. And I remember thinking, wow, that department could have done better. That department could have been better. Wow, how did the culture slip in that department? And I remember thinking of the people and I went, I'm the leader. I was busy over there. It's my fault. My fault. And when I sat down with people and say, hey, you had the worst year of your department, I want to say, first off, I'm sorry. They're like, what do you mean you're sorry? Sorry. I don't think I was the leader I could have been. So let's fix this together, right? And it just, when you start thinking through that lens, it's on me. Could we turn the air down? It's 1 degree cooler. It's a little hot in here. Maybe it's my throat. But when you take that shift, then, because, listen, raise your hand if you're here in the States, in the United States, right? Look, probably half of our people are outside the country. Amazing. Love having you here. But even no matter where you are in the world, you know that this election cycle in America was insane, right? And I try not to let it bug me that much because it doesn't matter who gets elected. None of them are coming to your house going, whew, Crystal, I'm so glad I got in. Let's sit down and fix your business and your finances. None of them are. Like, it's probably a 5% shift in either direction. Did you ever realize that? Maybe 10. Whatever your beliefs are, that's yours, that's great. But nobody's coming to save us. There's no election to go, oh, finally, life is just easy, right? Look at all these people from all over the world. Awesome to have you here. So that's why I look through that lens of if they're not coming to save me, then it's got to be on me. And if it's on me, then I need to gain the skills to go from where I am to where I want to be, and then I got to take some uncomfortable action. I might lose, I might fail along the way. That means I'm just sharpening the skills. So number 3, it's on me. Number 4, I like this one a lot. Number 4 is, who is steering your ship? Now, just a frame of reference for me, it might not make sense, but this is your life, true? Do you want someone else to have the wheel of your life if you consider your life the ship? Do you want someone else to have their hand on the wheel? You turn this way, they turn it back. I want to go over here, they turn it over here, right? You want to be in command of your ship, true? So this is the lens I look through. Lizette, awesome to be here with your kids. What's up, guys? Good to see you. I want to be in control. I want to have my hands on the wheel. And I look through the lens is what could possibly put someone else's hands on my destination, on my destiny? So I look through the lens of who is steering my ship. Because put it in the chat if you guys are a part of my family. So many of you are, thousands of you are. I love having you here from Mastermind. But what is the most costly advice in the world? I've said this a bunch of times. What's the most costly advice in the world? Who's going to share it in the chat first? Free advice, Carla, that's true. Free and bad. Natalie. Free and bad advice is usually the worst advice in the world. It's your broke friend telling you how to get rich. It's your single friend telling you why you should end your relationship, right? Like it's unbelievable. But bad advice is really costly. So are bad thoughts that are inserted and someone else grabs the handle. So I wrote down a few things for you to think about. Could the news be something that could influence your steering? Right? You're in the mood, right? You're in the mood like I see a Tina, right? Mervin. You say, I'm in. I'm going to my next level. I'm starting my own thing. I don't care. I can't live in this unfulfilled career anymore. I'm doing my own thing. Or I'm ending this toxic relationship. Or I'm starting a new. I'm finally putting myself out there. And all of a sudden you watch the news and it goes, inflation is up. The world's going to hell in a handbasket. Everything's wrong. Politicians are corrupt. And you go, maybe now's not the time to start my own business. Maybe I should stay in this career that's killing me slowly, right? And the way I look at it, you know how my brain works? I let the news come and put their hand on my wheel. The hell with that. Listen, the news, did you ever see that study of Time Magazine? 70 years ago, 80% of Time Magazine covers were positive. And they realized through the years, the more negative they got on the cover of Time Magazine, the more magazines they sold. So the news isn't there to inform us anymore. The news is there to shock us, to scare us. I see you, Mark, right? It's there to you go, at 11, why, pizza will kill you forever. It's like, oh, okay. It's there to just shock you, to get a click, or to stop and watch their stuff. They're not there to empower you and force you. But if you're watching that, it's triggers, right, Mark? But if you're watching it, it is subtly steering your ship. So I don't know what you got to do. Maybe go on a news diet. Spend time focusing on you. Could a coworker, a family member, a spouse, could they be subtly steering that ship? Right? Nancy's thinking, I'm doing my own thing, or I'm going to the next level. I'm saying no, I'm ending this toxic career. And then you talk to somebody and they go, with this economy, you don't want to quit that job. You should be lucky you have it. Oh, you're not that happy at home? As long as he's not cheating on you and he doesn't hit you, that's all you can get in today's world, because nobody's really happy. Did you ever talk to somebody who's jaded by love? Maybe that was me in my past. I don't know. Did you ever talk to somebody who's completely jaded by love, and you tell them about the relationship you're in, if you happen to be in a good one, and they go, it'll wear off. Oh, how long have you been married? 8 years? By 10 years, you'll be like, does that influence? Are they putting their hand on your I have to tell you right now, and this morning I had a 1-hour conversation with my daughter. She's 18. When we were in Utah last week, I took her with me and we toured 2 colleges in Utah. And she's such a sweet kid. Not because she's mine. She's just a good kid. She's easy. My 16-year-old son, I love him the same. He's a little more instructions. He's a little more difficult, right? But my 18-year-old daughter, she's been easy my whole life. Never's lied to me. She decided not to drink. She's always a designated driver, just easy. Her room's always a mess. Just want to make sure I'm clear on that. I can't get her to clean her room. Long story short, she comes over this morning and she's got a really nice boyfriend. I really, really, like, as a dad of your daughter, my firstborn, who was born on my birthday, like, she's my daddy's little girl. This is the kid I'd want her to be the first boyfriend. He's sweet. He's a hard worker. Like, he's respectful. Mr. Graziosi, how are you? I'd love for you to meet my parents. I'd love to invite you over to the house. Like, damn, I got lucky. He's not on his phone all the time. He looks me in the eye. He shakes my hand. His pants aren't around his knees. You know what I'm saying? Some pretty cool things, right? Right now, she's thinking of going to Utah, but he's going to, man, if she ever knew I was sharing this, oh my God, would she kill me? So, shh. They were thinking of going to Arizona State University, both going here. Now she's thinking of going to Utah. And I don't have the right answer for her. Her and I are going to meet today at 5 o'clock and go through a decision-making process. Because in her head, she's like, if I stay for him and it doesn't work out, I might regret forever that I didn't go and do my own thing at a college out of state. But Dad, he's my best friend, and I know it usually doesn't work out, but her cousin, my nephew, Tanner, his girlfriend and him met in 10th grade. They're still together, the happiest couple ever. It's a great example. She's like, what if he's the one? I don't know, Dad. But I got to tell you, you know what? Her friends are like, oh, screw him. He'll be cheating on you anyway as soon as you leave. Just go to another state. And I'm like, don't make it a decision that easy. But that's like, so what I'm saying is, her friends are putting their hands on the wheel of her life. And I'm not saying she should stay for a boy. I'm not saying that. I'm not also saying she should leave. There might be a middle of the road. Maybe she does 6 months or a year here, 1 semester here, and then she goes there. I don't know what the answer is, but I know right now there's a lot of people putting their hands on the wheel of my daughter's life. And I'm like, it ain't my life, kid. It's not your mom's life. It's not your friend's life. This is you, kid. This is adult stuff. You got to make big decisions here, but let's go through a decision-making process. So I'm sorry to use, you know, my family emotions or experiences, but you see how this affects. There are people in her life trying to get their hands on the wheel, and I didn't realize this till I was probably in my 40s. Screw that. Get your, like it's like you could visualize it. Like they put their hand on it. It's like, get your hand off my wheel. Let me ask you another one. Could fear steer your ship? Right? Imposter syndrome, that's what the new word for it, just fear. Self-doubt. Past regrets. So what I'd say is, look for the things that fuel those fears and just don't let yourself go down that thought pattern. We'll go a little deeper on this later, on old fear stories. I would say, try to stop your thoughts when you go, oh, self-doubt, oh, imposter syndrome, oh, fear, oh, past regrets. What's the thought process that gets you there? And just go, I'm going to stop for a minute and try to switch it to what fuels you, to what inspires you, so you can make clear decisions. Like where I watched my daughter go from really stressed today to, and I'm gonna get off this with my whole daughter thing, I promise. But hey, it was this morning, and I live these principles. This isn't something I just made up for you today. When my daughter was talking about all the tough decisions, I said, let me talk the other can I share something? And I said, at 16 years old, I was working full time. At 17, kid, I got my own apartment. And I was already making more than my high school teachers, and I wasn't that smart, and I didn't have money. I had no choice to go to college. So I went right to work. In 12th grade, I left school at 10 o'clock every day, went to work. I said, I have to tell you, through my lens, as I'm like, why would anyone go to college, is what I used to think. It's like, there's no one I know. Everybody who went to college is like, comes to apply to a job to work for me. Like, that's how I felt at a young age. And I said, I want to tell you, I was flawed there, kid. I was flawed there, and you have an opportunity. I said, if you want to go down that road, you go mentor under somebody for the next 3 years. Like, that's what I've told my kids since they were little. They can go to college, or they can mentor under anybody. I said, but that was flawed thinking. If I ever told you that, that's wrong. You have an opportunity. You didn't come from a trailer park. You didn't come from no money. I worked my tail off to give you options. And that college we went to was pretty amazing. I think you'd have the time of your life there for 4 years. You'd grow as a woman. You'd meet new friends. You'd create memories that last a lifetime. I'm like, you just got to weigh all those odds. And I said, what about today? Instead of thinking, oh, I got to make this choice, how about just shifting the thinking to saying, wow, I get to make choices. I didn't have a choice. And I don't regret one bit of it. I love the journey. I wouldn't change anything about my life. But I said, you get to have choices because I worked my tail off. And just say, who else? I'm telling you, whatever school you want to go to, I got you. If you go to one for a year and you want to go to another one, cool, I got you, right? I'm like, that's a pretty cool thing. And I watched her smile. I'm like, yeah, you got choices, don't you? I said, some of your friends don't, so be grateful for that. So I got a little smile on her face before she left. So do you see how, thanks Faraday, do you think how you see how letting someone else's hands on your ship is just get their hands off it. And now that I said this, you'll start looking and go, someone else's hands on my ship, get them out of here. Okay, so that was who's steering your ship. Number 5. Number 5. Now we're going to switch a little bit into business. I just threw this in here because I like to anchor these things and be a little shocking as we're going through kind of inner things, is always look through the lens that selling is service. And when you change your philosophy on selling, everything will change about your life and business. Now, here's what I want to share with you. If you're selling somebody to drink more, do drugs, smoke cigarettes, gamble, buy a product that's crappy, that's horrific, right? That's bad. But when you have something, when I could sell my daughter to make smart decisions, do you think I should influence her? Not to persuade her, but to keep her from trouble, right? If you had a friend that was dying because they smoked, and if they stopped smoking, they would live, is it bad to influence them in any measure possible to get them to stop smoking? My mom quit smoking when she was 55, and I had tried since I was 6 years old to get my mom to stop smoking. And one day I told her a story. I'm like, maybe it was later in life, but as I was older and I was partners with Tony Robbins, I knew how to influence people. I'll tell you the exact story I told my mom. Hey mom, if you stay on this path, you're gonna die young. 65, 70, you're out. You already got emphysema on the way. I don't understand, but you won't quit no matter what we say. I gotta ask you something. I said, Mom, let's pretend you're 65, 68 years old, you're in a hospital bed, you're on oxygen, you're barely breathing, you know it's the last couple days of your life, your family's sitting around, we're all crying, we're missing you. Can you picture that? She goes, Dean, I don't want to do that. I'm like, do it for me. Would you picture that? I said, could you picture that emotion? I said, picture that you can't catch breaths. You're trying to get breath, your chest is going up and out. My sister's crying, I'm crying, your grandchildren are missing you. I said, what would be the only wish you would have? What would be the only wish you had? She said, that I quit smoking. I said, wish granted, stop smoking today. And she quit that day. And she stopped smoking. It's 28 years she hasn't smoked, and a lot of it cleared up. My whole point is, that is influence as hell. And I don't give a shit, excuse my language. I stopped my mom smoking. She's 78 years old, and her lungs aren't, there's other things bugging her, but not that, right? So my whole point is, I served my mom. I will do whatever the hell it takes to get someone to say yes. You guys that are a part of my mastermind family, I love what we do at Mastermind. I love hanging out with you guys right now. I'm at work today. How cool is that? Right? I love that we create tools. I love we created Gigi, our AI, that allows you to have something that thinks like Tony and I in your pocket 24 hours a day. Right? I love what we do so much. It's just in my soul that there's never a time I feel like I'm selling my product. I'm serving the people that want to take their life to the next level. Fall in love with things like that, and you will never sell a day in your life. In fact, when you fall in love with what you're trying to do, create, or share, it's actually a disservice not to get people to say yes. Right? My mom's an extreme example, and there wasn't one bit of hyperbole about that story. My mom tells the story all the time. She tried the gum, she tried the nicotine patches, she tried lights, she tried the filter on the end of the cigarette, all that stuff. It was death, the thing that got her, right? If I didn't do that, I would have actually done my mom a disservice for not selling her, for not influencing her. True? For those of you who are part of the Mastermind family, who's glad you're a part of the Mastermind family? Raise your hand. Yeah, Maddie, you're winning. You're winning for sure. Like, I'm glad I got you to say yes, right? So I want you to carry this with you in life, that if you're creating a product, if you're launching a new company, if you're launching a workshop, a mastermind, or whatever it is you do, love it so much that you feel bad if people don't say yes. And then you'll never sell a day in your life. You just get people excited because you want them to experience it. Right? I joke all the time, and I know you've heard me say this. Thank you, Kylie. If you guys watch a great movie, read a great book, or have a good meal, do you love telling somebody about it? Do you love telling somebody about that meal? Oh my God, this diet or whatever it is? It's because you want them to experience it. When you build something you love that much, then you can't help but tell everybody. But for some reason, we grew up with the cheesy used car salesman, right? That selling is bad. Selling is bad if you're selling a bad thing. That's just a fact. So, number 5, selling is service. Make it a part of your life. Cool? All right. Number 6, be bold. Number 6 is be bold. This one's going to be really fairly short. But be bold is we need to take uncomfortable action. We have to stop waiting until everything's perfect. We have to jump out of the plane and grow wings on the way down. We have to stop hesitating. We have to be courageous. Let me just ask you something. What has hesitation or waiting already cost you? Right? I see it landing for some of you pretty heavy. Me too. Guilty. Right? I'm not saying blindly jump out of the plane not knowing, but most of you are part of our mastermind family. You have a path. You have strategies. You have a plan. You have a map. Right? Put in the chat what it's cost you. It's like you had an opportunity and the train went down the tracks. And then the worst part about missing or hesitating is then you go through like 6 months of I'm just going to leave life the way it is until you're disturbed again to where you got to change. And then you start almost the energy all over again, right, Karen? Then you got to find the energy of saying, I'm going to make the shift this time. I'm going to change this time, right? It's like, it's so hard to get momentum. If you got a little bit, keep it, fuel it. Be courageous, be bold, stop hesitating. Take uncomfortable action. Who in here knows that your next level of life lives on the other side of some uncomfortable action? Always, always. I see you, Mike Moore, right? It's always on the other side of that. So, be bold is number 6. Number 7. I'm going to sneak business back in here a little bit. Know your ideal client. Know your ideal client. In life, I know my daughter pretty darn well. She's my ideal client. I know her. I know how she thinks. I know what she needed this morning. So I got to meet her where she is. But I have to tell you, in most cases, those of you that are in the knowledge industry, considering the knowledge industry, or just considering doing your own thing, or you're already in business, here's what I want to tell you. Or you have a career. Same exact principles apply. This applies to 100% of you. Know your ideal client better than anyone else does. Know their fears. Know their goals. Know their dreams. Know their worries. Meet them where they are. Let them feel understood. Right? I did all that stuff with my daughter this morning. I'm like, I get it, kid. You feel like you're at a crossroad, and whatever direction you take, there's really bad consequences, isn't it? She's like, oh my God, Dad, yes. She immediately felt understood. Right? And I said, I'm not here to give you an answer. I'm helping you to work through so you can find an answer. Ooh, I met her exactly where she was. She already had somebody in her life tell her what she should do. All right, her other parent, right? I'm like, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to find out where you should be, right? And I said, I know what you're worried about. And I also know your goals. Like, I just met her where she was, so then I knew how to help her navigate through that. That's how obsessed you should be with your ideal client. Again, those of you in the knowledge industry, which is the majority of you here on your way into it, usually your ideal client, you ready for this, is just you of a few years ago. At your worst moment, what did you worry about? At your worst moment, what did you dream about? At your worst moment, how would you have liked to be felt? How would you like to have felt understood by somebody? When you start thinking through that lens, you know how to talk to your ideal client. It's you. It's you. In your worst moment, if somebody put if you were at the worst moment and you went back in time and you found that version of you and you put your arm around him and took a walk, what would you say to make them feel better? That's how you know your ideal client. And if it isn't you of a few years ago, and you could still go find a community of people like your ideal client and go in there and ask questions. What do you worry about? What are your dreams? What about today's economy, today's world scares you? What would you like to do if you had no fear? Man, take that all in, and that's who you speak to. Listen, my 16-year-old, I know him as an ideal client, but man, it took me like 10 years to figure out how to talk to him. He's got a completely different set of instructions. I love, Tony said to me one time, you don't have a favorite child, do you? I have 4. I'm like, no, I absolutely, honestly love them all the same. He goes, you love them all the same? For sure. He goes, but one's a little easier, aren't they? I'm like, you got me, right? It's like, I love them the same, but my daughter is like and he goes, your daughter's like you, isn't she? I'm like, yeah. Your son? Complete opposite. Complete opposite. And it took me like a fool. It took me years to figure out how to have him my ideal client. Now, he's got a completely different set of instructions on how I talk to him. We have the most amazing relationship in the world. I love that kid so much, but I can't talk to him the same way I talk to my daughter. And that's when we figure out our ideal client. We lean into who they are. We meet them where they are. We know their dreams. We know their worries. And then when you combine that with selling is service, you're not selling. You're meeting people where they are and you're giving them some really great advice for their next best steps. Doesn't that take a little edge off of business and selling, right? Who's taking a little bit of an edge off, right? So know your ideal client. All right. I'm a little behind. You guys good if I go like a half hour, 20 minutes over today? You okay with that? I'm going to try to, because I'll try to speed it up because I don't want one of you to miss the end. Literally what I'm going to share at the end is my brand new success plan, and I've never shared it before. It's going to be cool, so don't go anywhere. But what I want to do now, we went through 7 of 14. And I figured I'd take a little break in the middle and share with you what I think every single one of you should do in 2025 to create success. Do it for fun to start. Do it for free to start. But I would suggest do it for profit and impact down the road. And I'm going to suggest that 100% of you start a mastermind group in 2025. Every single one of you should start a mastermind group. It's okay. Some of you, I see so many of our mastermind family, you might be creating a course, you might be writing a book, you might have a coaching program, but I'm going to tell you, love that journal you got there, Maddie, but I'm going to tell you to add a mastermind into your life. The reason we own mastermind.com is because masterminds have shifted Tony and I's life more than any other one thing. And for those of you that might be new to our family, a mastermind was, the phrase was kind of coined by Napoleon Hill. If you know the book Think and Grow Rich, he took 20 years to interview the most successful people in the world. And then he just wrote all the common traits. It's probably the quintessential personal development book. I think all of you should read it. But in the book, he talks about a mastermind. And what he realized, and he was sitting down cool times with like Harvey Firestone from like the tires, Henry Ford, Ford cars, and Andrew Carnegie, railroad, right? 3 titans of the Industrial Revolution. And what he realized is that when he talked to them individually, they were brilliantly smart. But when he put them in the room together, there was an extra mind created of the collective wisdom of each of them. So how he coined it is if more than one person if 2 or more people are in a room with a similar outcome, when they combine forces, it creates a third mind smarter than everybody in the room. Did that explain it in a way to kind of make sense? If you're in the room with the wrong people, Well, that's not the right thing. You got to be in the room with the right people. So why should you start one? And I'm going to give you some different variations. Again, start one for fun, start one for profit, start one for impact, start one for purpose. But this is the year. And those of you that are part of Mastermind, Gigi is trained to help you. In fact, I'll show you here in a little bit. We have extra trainings in the platform to help you with this Mastermind, because I've been doing them for almost 30 years. And it almost just like hit me as an epiphany. I'd be doing you a disservice if you didn't create one, because you get to impact others. It's easy to start. It's easy to lay out. People love proximity, whether that's on Zoom like we are or in person. It's not all on you. There's little or no cost to get started. Tech can help you go faster. You'll learn so much. And the cool thing is, here at Mastermind, we're on a mission this year to make Masterminds cool. People, I love courses, I love workshops, I love all of it. But I want to make Masterminds cool, because they really do move the needle. We are in the knowledge revolution, so we might as well be at the head of that revolution. So let me tell you the 3 different types of masterminds. And then you can let me know which one kind of lands with you. The first one is collective wisdom. If you want to write that down or somebody put it in the chat, the first one is collective wisdom. And at least that's what I'm titling it today. And that just means you put similar people in a room with a higher outcome, and the collective wisdom allows all of you to get smarter. So I'm going to use my wife as an example. When I met my wife, she owns hair salons. She does hair extensions. And she, hands down, was the #1 hair extension person in all of Arizona. She had every successful person, all the sports, everybody that's here for athletes, their wives. Like, her clientele was unbelievable. She made hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars a year. It blew my mind. And how I found out is everybody said, hey, the most successful hairstylist and owns a salon in Arizona was this girl, Lisa. And then I saw she was really cute. Want to hear a funny story behind the scenes? And I've never shared before. Jamie, you want to hear it? She only did women's hair. And I'm not an advocate of it, but I went through a divorce, and I decided I'm just going to be super dad. I'm not getting in a relationship. Nobody's going to love my kids the way I love them. But man, it was like the 3rd person said, did you ever hear of this girl, Lisa? I don't think, she's not married yet. She's got this incredible company. She's beautiful. She's sweet. And then somebody, ready for this? My ex said, who were dear friends, she's like, that's probably the girl you would marry, my ex. And that's how good of friends we are, right? So now I'm telling you something I've never shared this publicly, ever in the history of the world. So you're getting something behind the scenes, if you care. So everybody tells me about it, and then I'm like a stalker. I find her on social media, and I'm like, damn, she's pretty. So I call to get my hair cut. I know knows this part. I call to get my hair cut. And I say, oh, I'm sorry, she doesn't accept women. Or she doesn't accept men, she just does women. So I waited about 3 weeks. I called back. I'm like, hey, I'd really love to get my hair cut. I heard Lisa's great. I know she only accepts women. So I make friends with the receptionist, and I get in. And I got my hair cut. And I'm like, I got one shot at this. I sit in the chair. She tells me the first book she ever read was Tony Robbins' Awaken the Giant Within. I'm like, this is my girl. Oh, my God. Like, my heart is fluttering. I got butterflies. And she's cutting my hair. And all I could think about the entire time is, I can't leave here without her number. Like, she's probably talking to me, and I look like I'm off. I'm like, I can't leave here without my number. But I'm sure every single guy that comes here or sees her tries to get a number. So how do I be different? How do I get? So like, she's talking to me, and all I can think about. So as I'm sitting there, she's telling me all the books she likes. She just got done reading Eckhart Tolle's book, The Power of Now. She's reading all the same stuff I'm doing. So I said, hey, I got a crazy request for you. I have this book called Millionaire Success Habits, and I would love to get your opinion on what you think of it. And she goes, oh, I would love that. So underneath, this is all true, not underneath, and you guys might not give 2 craps about this, but I'm having fun telling it. I literally text my assistant. I said, I'm at the hair salon. Go get a book and drive here. I literally wrote, he still has it. I said, drive here 100 miles an hour and bring me my book. So he walks into the hair salon and hands me the book. I said, hey, I know this is weird, but I would love your opinion on this. You ready for this one? Persuasion? I hand her the book. Now I'm like waiting. We have this great conversation. And as before I leave, I'm like, hey, why don't you take my number? I won't get yours. Take my number. And if you'd like to text me what you think of the book, I'd love to hear it. She took my number, and 2 days later, she texted me, go, oh my God, I love this book. And then she took a picture of herself reading it while she was on her treadmill, and I'm like, cha-ching, I am in, game over. And we were inseparable ever since, married a year and a half later. But that's a story that no one ever knows. So, fight for what you want. That's the lesson right there. Fight for what you want. Nobody's going to bring it to us, so you might as well go get it. Okay, sorry I digressed. Talking about my wife, collective wisdom. My wife is amazing at running a salon and doing hair extensions. So if she was going to do a collective wisdom, mastermind, she would invite other owners of hair salons that are in her league. Does that make sense? She would invite her peers. That's the word, collective wisdom / peers. Whoever's writing it up here, collective wisdom / peers. She would invite her peers to pay, to come, and she would share what she knows about building a successful salon, doing hair extensions, but everybody in the room would share what they know and everybody would get smarter. Does that make sense? So that's collective wisdom. Raise your hand if that would be intriguing to you. And you could do this for free in the first one, right? Number 2, and I call all of these masterminds, I call the second one more of a workshop. So the second one is more like, if it was my wife, she would invite people that just got started in the hair industry and want to give them a leg up on how to go faster. Does that make sense, Paula? Right? So she would have a room or a Zoom or Orlando, right? She'd have a room of new hairstylists and go, hey, let me tell you how to go quicker to get success. This is how you talk to clients. This is how you do extensions. This is how you get more money do it through love. Like, this is how you run your books, right? So that's more of like front of the room, I'm teaching you. That could be in person, that could be on Zoom. Does that make sense? And then the third one, I like to call it a monthly mastermind. You could build a community or a group where you go live every month and you teach either one, your peers or people you're trying to give a leg up. Make sense? So do you see the power of this? Because here's the cool part, and I'm going to show you in a minute how tech has made this so much fun, is you could do a collective wisdom website, a collective wisdom mastermind with your peers. If you want to do the first one for free, you're going to gain insane amounts of wisdom. You could do a free one if you wanted, where the front of the room where you're sharing your strategies, whether it's 2 people or 20. Or you could say, hey, we're going to meet once a month in this community, and I'm going to share the same stuff monthly to give you ongoing support. Number 3 is kind of monthly membership or a monthly mastermind. So if you think of those 3, thanks, Alan, for putting that in the group. If you think of those 3, why wouldn't all of you do it? Now, if you want to do it for free, you can, just to start. But when you see the value and you see what these people get, you realize you should be charging for each one of those. And I would suggest all of you do it, because when you see how powerful this collective wisdom is, nothing will change it. Let me tell you why it's good for them. Because you get to meet people where they are. You get to solve their problems. You get to empower their goals. All the stuff we were talking about. It gives them what they want and what they need. You get to connect them with each other. Here's another good one. Your top students or the people in the group usually rise to the top, and they become the people that you work with forever, and they help you facilitate these masterminds. Every mastermind I've ever created, we have one now at $250,000 that Tony and I created. We have 25 members already. It's unbelievable. It's why I went to Utah. Man, there's already 3 or 4 members that are just so awesome, rising to the top. I'm going to have them train and teach. It's all relevant. They're people that are doing over $10 million a year, right? We have a mastermind at $25,000 for people doing over $100,000 a year. Like, meet people where they are. But I love masterminds because it can get you in the game faster and quicker, and the impact you make is contagious. Raise your hand if you're interested in doing one, or you're going to do one definitely in 2025, right? Not for everybody, but something I wanted to share. And again, the cool part is those of you in Mastermind, you have technology like Gigi that helps you go faster, right? And for the rest of you, I would love for you to see a glimpse on how the world is changing. Those of you in Mastermind, I would love for you to see what's possible. Those that aren't, you might want to be. that's totally your choice. But I would love to show this video. You guys have seen Allie on our team. She's the head of all client success. She shot this like 2-minute video, and this is the stuff that just lights me up about being a part of Mastermind. This is the stuff we had to all do by hand just 2 years ago. 10 years ago was so much more work. And now we have the opportunity. Yeah, look at everybody. I love Gigi. She's my best friend, definitely, right? I want to show you how much quicker we can move in today's world. So let's play that video.
Hey everyone, instead of just telling you how awesome Gigi is to help you in structuring, outlining, and ultimately creating your mastermind groups with, I figured I would just show you. So in this example, I'll be using our little microphone button down here. That's our voice to text dictation feature. It allows us to simply ask for what we're looking for, and then Gigi will help with the rest. So let's go ahead and try it out together. I am an expert in the real estate space, and I'd love to put together a 2-day mastermind with my peers who are also industry experts. Can you help me in outlining an advanced agenda of some things that we might talk about during this mastermind? All right, let's go ahead and press enter here, and we'll see what she comes up with. All right, she recommends that day 1 be all about foundations and innovations. And then day 2, we dive into advanced techniques and networking. So let's take a look at this a little bit deeper. Day 1, for example, she recommends that we start with an opening and setting objectives. And then we dive into our first keynote speaker who will talk about current trends in the real estate market. Then we'll do a networking breakout session followed by a panel discussion talking about innovative strategies for real estate investments. Then we have a lunch networking opportunity, and really the day continues on, ending with an evening networking event. All right, so now let's say that we've changed our mind. We no longer want to cater this to our peers, but instead to newbies in the industry. Let's try this one out. I've changed my mind. I instead would like to host a 2-day workshop that focuses on the beginner in real estate, the people just getting started. Can you help me in outlining what that agenda might look like and add in some exercises that we could do together? Okay, and she's responding to us right away. And instead, she recommends that day 1 be all about the foundations of real estate, and day 2 be about practical skills and strategies. Okay, so taking a look deeper at this, she recommends we start with a quick welcome and introduction, and then we talk about understanding real estate basics, and then the real estate market overview before we go into a break. Then we'll talk about building your real estate toolkit. What's really cool is that for each of these, she's giving us a talking point, but she's also giving us a hands-on exercise. So for this, for example, we would be doing role-playing using various tools and mock scenarios. All right, so let's say that I've changed my mind again, because it happens, and instead I would like to do a monthly membership. Instead of doing a workshop, I would love to have a real estate membership where I really cater to the newbie in real estate, and I go live once a month talking about different topics to really help them in getting started. Can you help me in outlining a 6-month agenda? And once we press enter, she's giving us a quick reply. All right, so she is breaking it down month by month here, and you can see that she's including a topic, a few bullet points to go with that, as well as live session activities that we could do with our monthly mastermind group. So here she recommends getting started in real estate, followed by building a strong foundation, which includes the essential skills such as communication, networking, and negotiation, and navigating the market. You can see that the list goes on here covering all 6 months, but what's really amazing about Gigi is that you can go back and forth in this conversation to really tailor these results into something that you absolutely love. Now you can brainstorm in ways that you've never done before, and you can go so much quicker using Gigi as your support system. All right, enjoy the rest of your session, and I can't wait for you to try Gigi. See ya.
Isn't it? Give it up for Allie. She's watching live right now. Isn't that amazing we have that? So those of you who are part of the Mastermind family, That's all there for you. And yes, there's training on Mastermind. And I wrote down, I wanted to share, like, why are Masterminds good for you? I said, well, it's good for them. Because it allows you to learn in real time without a bunch of huge upfront work, right? You can leverage GG or AI, new technology, to go faster. If you're a Mastermind member, you get to be a part of this collective group where everybody's growing, right? Collective wisdom is the fastest way to get from where you are to where you want to be. And here's a cool one, because someone asked this. It can be the start and then branch into other things, or it can be a destination if you already have a course or a book or a workshop. So it could just be one of those things that I believe everybody should have them in their life. And the truth is, I want to make Masterminds a household name. When someone says to Christina or Ron, hey, how'd you go so fast in life? It's like, what do you mean? I created a mastermind. We all got smarter, faster, right? Like, so just know one of my big crazy goals is to make mastermind the coolest word on the planet over the next 2 years. I want somebody to say, how are you solving that problem? I'm creating a mastermind. Hey, how do you have that group? It's a mastermind. How are you making that extra money? And why are you smiling all the time? I have a mastermind, right? So this is my agenda to make it great. Okay, that's what I believe you should all do in 2025. Now I want to go through the second 7 of my life lessons. You guys ready for that? All right. Number 8, if someone could put the first 7 in the chat again, get a reminder, get back. I thought I'd break it up in the middle rather than doing it at the end. Number 7 is focus on the fix. Focus on, thank you, Dr. Sally. Focus on the fix. It really means solution-oriented thinking. What I know is things go wrong. That's an absolute fact. And our brains, and maybe it's just mine and some of the people I know, our brains sometimes want to know why the problem happened, whose fault it is, and we can linger on it. I would bet to say some of you know someone who was in a really bad relationship, and I'm sorry for that. And once it was over, it's really hard to I watched my mom go through this, really hard to open up to a new relationship because they keep thinking about what went wrong with the first one. He cheated, or she was not nice to me, or whatever it was. She hurt my heart, he hurt my heart. And when we're focusing on why it happened, or how they could do that to me, or how could they take advantage of me when I cared about them so much, it doesn't leave any room for solution-oriented thinking. Rather, if he said, hey, what went wrong? What part was my fault? Right? What part could I have done better? Who do I look for in a different type of person? How do I not get, right? So if you think about it, what I used to tell my kids, if you spill a glass of milk, you could say, whose fault is it? Why did it spill? It's going to mess up the carpet. It might stink. Or you could just go get a towel and a new glass of milk. Because we don't have enough time in our lives to focus on the why of the problem. What we should do is learn from it as fast as humanly possible, and then all of our energy should be focused on the solution. All of our energies. How did I learn from this? What went wrong? Great. How do I fix it? How does it never happen again? What did Winston Churchill, one of my favorite quotes of all time? The definition of success is going from failure to failure without losing your enthusiasm. Stuff is going to go wrong. Things aren't going to work out, but we can learn and take advice from each one and try again, right? I mean, I know that's that Thomas Edison quote, the man who invented the light bulb. Somebody, an old interview, right? You guys have all heard it, I'm sure. It's like, yeah, but you had 1,000 tries and the light bulb didn't work. How did you keep going? And he said, no, I just found 1,000 ways not to make a light bulb. Like, what a quick, simple frame, right? What a quick, different frame. If you've tried your own business and it didn't work, you just figured out how it didn't work. And we now have to focus on the solution. See it, learn from it, then let it go. Don't get dragged into the why. Again, we only have a certain amount of energy in a day. So don't burn it up on things you can't change. Make sense? Focus on the fix. Number 9, say no more. Not say no more. Say the word no more. I love to say, yes got you out of Egypt, but no will take you to the promised land. And for those of you that have been a part of our family for a long time, you know I talk about the not to do list. But it's even more than that. Like, audit your time. If you truly want to take your life to the next level, James, beautiful little girl there, If you truly want to take your life to the next level, you're going to have to get rid of all the stuff that's in the gray. The stuff that really doesn't push you. Like, it's easy to say no to the stuff that hurts you. I go out drinking 3 nights a week and I have a hangover the next day. That's easy. Say no to that, right? I hang out with somebody that's extremely negative. And every time I hang out with them, I question my own beliefs. That's easy to say, got to get them out of my life. It's the subtle ones. It's the areas in the gray, right, Gail? It's those areas where, well, they kind of are okay, but they're kind of not okay. And all I'd say is, what if just for the next 6 months of your life, you judged all the actions that you take, and you said, this is taking me towards the woman I want to be, or it is not taking me towards the woman I want to be. And if it's like, maybe it is, what if you said no to that for the next 6 months? What if you got rid of all the maybes, the gray area, and you said no to most things? It's either this action moves me towards who I want to be, or it moves away. And when you look at it, it's hard to make those decisions, but you'll find so much time opening up for the things that could take your life to the next level. Because none of us have an extra 3 hours a week, or 5 hours a week, or 10 hours a week. Like, I got nothing to do, 3 hours a day. No, all of us are busy. So the only way you get unbusy is to really manage your time of saying, hey, I'm busy in that, but doing that, surfing on Netflix, getting stuck online, going like this for 40 minutes a day. Look at your phone and see how much time you're on your phone. Cut it in half. Probably save 3 hours a week right there. Just right there, right? See how much time you spend on Netflix. Cut it in half. You got another 2 hours there. Not for everybody, but for some. Hanging out with people make you feel shitty about yourself. You might find a couple hours there a week, right? And there are certain things that you do like a hypnotic rhythm because you've done them for so long. And they used to serve the old version of you, but they don't serve who you're becoming. So audit those decisions, audit those people, audit those actions, and just say no. Being a dad of 4, being in a relationship where I love being with my wife, running 2 companies, wanting to do all these cool things, I've gotten it down to where I say no to everything. There is not much I say yes to. I say yes to everything when it comes to my kids. It's non-negotiable. I say yes to my family. I say yes to this team. But I say no to everything else. Everybody's like, how do you fit it all in? It's because I really say no to everything except the things that really are important to me and can move me towards the man I want to become. So it's a discipline. It's a discipline. But it's one that pays back the biggest dividends of anything I've ever done in my life. So say no more. All right. Ready for the next one? Number 10. The little things are the big things. The little things are the big things. So I never really looked at it this way. Like I'm going to give you these 14 life lessons. They seem like big things, but they're really small little adjustments. Right? You guys, you got your notes. I see you all writing, and I love that, by the way. Amazing. I hope those of you on YouTube, I don't get to see you, but I can see your chats. I hope you're writing away. But little things really determine your life. What are the little routines you have? We all have routines, right? If you have a routine where you wake up in the morning, roll over, grab your phone, look on it for a half hour, see good stuff, see bad stuff, some news, an email that kind of sets you off. And then you get up and have a coffee and kind of see how your day goes. That's a routine. But there's also a routine where you wake up and don't look at your phone. Maybe think of a little thing you're grateful for, or something that went right the day before, something to make you smile. Maybe read a chapter or a paragraph. Go grab a healthy green drink and go for a walk or exercise. That's a routine as well, isn't it? Are they both routines? Which one serves you? Which one sets you up for success? Right? Kevin, I see it, right? It's obvious, but it doesn't mean we're obviously doing it. Right? So I would check your little routines, your little disciplines, and instead of thinking, I got to change my whole life, it's like, you know what? I'm going to shift my current morning routine for this new one I'm going to try for 30 days and see how it makes me feel. I'm going to do everything in my power not to check my phone. I'm going to get that green drink I saw that's really supposed to alkaline my body. I'm just going to drink that in the morning before my coffee. I haven't worked out in a long time, so I'm just going to take a walk. Or I'm going to work out more. Shift these little things. Maybe a discipline is journaling. Like, that's the reason I have a journal. Like, I try to journal every day. When I say journal, sometimes I write my thoughts, but other times I write what I'm going to do for the day. I wrote everything I'm going to share with you in here. I write everything in a journal because I can go back and look at it, right? Diving back into the course, working with Gigi, reading more, learning more, focus time. What if you scheduled an hour a week just to focus on the bigger version of you? Just an hour a week of saying, who could I become if I had no limits? Who could I become if I lived it? What is the innovation? What is the bigger version of me? Just an hour a week to focus on the next level version of you. You think that could shift your life? A little focus time? Maybe kill an hour of your phone and put an hour of you? Being a part of an incredible community like this, where you go in and you can say anything you want in our Facebook group and everybody will light it up and cheer you on and say, go for it. Right? I don't know what small hinges can swing big doors for you, but I bet you with a little bit of an audit, I bet you could find some routines you do that don't serve you. And instead of making it where I got to change my whole life, subtle little adjustments. I look at my phone as soon as I wake up. I'm going to wait a half hour to look at my phone. That's not a big shift. When I wake up, I think about what's wrong. I'm going to think about what's right for the next couple of weeks. I'm not going to watch the news for the next 3 weeks. I'm going to try to journal my thoughts. I don't know what it is, but you can make those subtle shifts. And I promise you, those subtle shifts add up, and you start saying, why am I feeling this way today? Why am I getting shit done like I never did before? Why are things moving? Because you're adjusting the knobs. Make sense? Awesome. Number 10, look for the little things. Number 11. This was my biggest quote of the year about 3 years ago, but I still say it every day, and I make my kids read this book and live by this, well, the best I can, is I will persist until I succeed. I will persist until I succeed. Man, that is just it. When I heard that, Ogmandino, the author, wrote it, I was like, damn, that is fire. Because I think persist is the only, I think it's the only word in the English language that can guarantee your success. I mean, if you persist and it fails, and you keep going, and it fails, you keep going, eventually one of those failures turns into success. Isn't that true? And we have to have that, Elena, I see you, right? We have to have that mindset is, I'm just going to keep going. The thought of like, the prize isn't at the beginning of the journey, the prize is at the end of the journey. And in that book of Ogmandino's, he talks about, he makes it like corners. Sorry. He makes it like corners. We don't know how many corners we have to go around until we see our next level of success. I look at that as challenges. We don't know how many challenges. Priya might have 3 challenges, and all of a sudden you see her crushing it, and you're like, wow. But Kelly, she might have to go through 20 challenges. But 21 is where she lives. Becky might have 25. But if you keep moving forward, eventually your success, your next level is on the other side. So if we can just adapt that culture, I'd write this on your mirror. Lynn, you could put it on your wall next to the latte and espresso, right? You could, Rami, you could write it on the back of your hand. Like, having a rough day, it's okay. I learned from it. I'm going to focus on solution, and I will persist until I succeed. Isn't that just a strong statement? Somebody says, hey, how's it going for you, James? I say you tried a couple times, it's not working. It's like, yeah, it doesn't matter because I'm persisting until I succeed. The prize isn't at the beginning of my journey. The prize is at the end. I'm not sure how long the journey is, but I'm not stopping. I'm going to keep going. Isn't that just a sorry. Isn't that just a different way to look at this journey we're on? I will persist until I succeed. Number 12. Know where your focus should go. Now, I hesitated writing this one because it kind of covered it in other areas. But time is limited. And Tony says where energy flows, focus goes. Or where focus goes, energy flows. Right? Where focus goes, energy flows. So just make sure you know what is the main needle mover in your life. Can we tend to be busy with things that don't necessarily move us forward? Peter, I see you, right? Thanks for being the first one to shake your head. I see you, Jim Whitaker, right? I see you, Sandra, right? Sometimes we're busy, but we're not actually busy with the needle movers. I'm going to go deep on this exercise. It's one of the foundations of the exercise I'm going to do at the end of the day today. Time is limited. So we must think through the lens. If time is limited, then what are actually the things that can take me from where I am to where I want to be? And I need to work just on those. You see, sometimes you guys might be comfortable with designing, graphics, colors, laying out agendas. Maybe all that's good, but maybe you're hesitating on marketing. So your brain goes, I'm going to stay busy creating my product. I'm going to stay busy creating this course. Marketing, yeah, I'm going to come over here. But maybe the first video you do in marketing actually gets the check and makes consistent checks. If that's the needle mover, then that's where your focus should be. And when you think about it, I'm going to go through this in an exercise later. But once you know the biggest needle mover, then just think about what is the biggest constraint or problem holding you back from achieving it. Do I need Gigi to help me? Do I need to get in that course on how to do masterminds? Do I need to get the 7-step jump start going? What do you need to do to actually achieve that, solve that problem? Biggest outcome, biggest needle mover. What's the problem in the way? Solve that problem. Make sense? And then just don't stop until it's done. Right? Just don't stop until it's done. Number 13. Work on the business you are becoming. So I love the saying, we all have to work on the business we are. Now, this isn't the business world. Some of you are still in a career. But you could put it as yourself. You have to work on the person you are while you also work on the person you're becoming. Right? Like, I just consulted with somebody yesterday in one of my departments. And I said, in today's fast-moving world, your department, you need to spend 75% of your time working on the company we are, the department you are. But you got to spend 25% of your time seeing where the world is going. The world's changing fast, right? I always joke, in Phoenix here, you pull up to a light and there's Waymo cars with no drivers. There's AI thinking like Tony and I out there just helping people. Right now, Gigi's helping people get things done, answering exactly like we were. The future isn't coming, the future's here. So the cool part about staying plugged in, being connected, being a part of this community is have your eyes open to AI trends and tech and shifts where you don't have to figure it out on your own. Stay plugged in so you can see where the world is going, so you can work on who you are. But it's like, I almost look at it like work on who you are, but you kind of peek over the wall and the neighbor's yard is where you're going. And you're like, oh, let me see. Oh, that's where I'm going, right? And you got it in your foresight. You got it in your future vision, and you come back and be here. Who all knows that you have a bigger future in your life? Your best days aren't behind you. You're a part of this community. Your best days are ahead of you. Who's committed to making their best days ahead of them, right? So you're already a future thinker. You're not looking back saying they were the good old days. So we're always trying to tweak the business we are, put processes and systems and measure, but we always want to look over the fence on who we're becoming, because not only is it exciting, it shows you where things are coming. Make sense? Number 14. 14 lessons we went through today. Who versus how. Who versus how. Again, those of you who are part of our family know I talk about this a lot. So how are the capabilities that we need, the thinking that we need, the skills that we need, the coaching we need, the group we need, the education we need, the AI we need, the capabilities. The how is to go from where we are to where we want to go. You know, I always do the where are you and where you want to go. In between that, what closes the gap? What do you need to overcome that next hurdle? What do you need to get the first mastermind done, or to finally have the strength and the courage to just do your own thing? What do you need to get that marketing going? What capabilities do you need? It's different for Gail than it is Margaret or Frederique or Carl or Andy. Each of you are different, but you need to know what capabilities you need. But the part that, time, right? But the part that really shifted my life is when I replaced the word how with who. Who has already done what I want to achieve, and how can I learn from them? How can I cut a check for speed? How could I mentor with them? How could I go through their book? How could I go through their course? Who has crafted the plan, the map? Right? Hope isn't a strategy, and trying to figure it out on your own, Tara, right? Sometimes can take so long you give up on yourself. The first time I ever explained this, probably a decade ago, I said, if you went through a hike through, North America, and you were going through the jungle, you're down in Brazil, you're going through the Amazon, and you got to the edge of the Amazon, and you wanted to hike 30 miles to the other side because there's paradise on the other side. There's water fountains and people, and it's beautiful. But you know, in between there's snakes, there's quicksand, there's cliffs, there's sharp objects, there's spiders that could kill you, right? If you said, hey, I'm getting to the other side, there's two ways to get to the other side. You just go, I'm in. How? I've learned how to avoid, how to track, and you just run in blazing and hope you get to the other side. But if you look down to the right, and about 40 feet down, there was a guy there with salt and pepper hair, and he's selling you a map. And he said, hey, I've been going through these woods for 20 years. I know where to avoid the quicksand, what animals will hurt you. I know where you should sleep, because it takes 2 nights. I know where you should sleep. I know the exact path to get you there. Well, you might know how to get through the Amazon, but who'd be happy to have the who that's already crafted the map, that's already been there, that already got bit by the spider, that already fell in the quicksand, right? And that's why people will pay you, those of you in this industry, want to be in this industry, because they want the map. They want the fast track. They want to avoid the pitfalls. Listen, what Tony and I created with Mastermind, it took us 70-something years between the two of us to figure this stuff out. And believe me, we made incredible mistakes along the way. So our goal is to make sure you make less mistakes and you have the path to go faster. You got the map to avoid the pitfalls and get to that paradise quicker. Does that make sense? Does that make sense? So what I would love to share now. So you guys, what'd you think of the 14 life lessons? They're right in front of me. Audit your inner circle. Solve bigger problems. It's on me. Who's steering your ship? Selling is service. Be bold. Know your ideal client. Focus on the fix. Say no more. The little things are the big things. Know what to focus on. Know the person you're becoming. And who versus how. Do me a favor. Out of those, which one was your favorite? Does anybody have a favorite? And if they were all your favorite, that's pretty cool. Excellent. I'm so glad you like number 13, number 14, right? Who versus how. Persist until I succeed. Be bold. Look at all these great ones coming in. All of them. Number 9, number 12, number 14, 13, 11. Who versus how. 10, mastermind. I want to do a mastermind. All of them. Number 9. Who's steering my ship? Oh my God. Aren't they, as you hear me, like, oh no, that was my favorite. Oh no, I got to be bold. Oh no, nobody can steer my ship, right? No, who versus how, right? It's on me. I will persist until I succeed. I mean, that's just so powerful. Well, I am so excited that you guys are here with me today. And for those of you who are a part of our mastermind family, I love doing this. I love that we get to continue working on Gigi and all the things that we do. And for those of you who are not part of our mastermind family, I'd like to take a few minutes in the middle of our event here and give you the opportunity to stay connected, to get the skills, to get the platform, to get Gigi, and to get all the things to help you start a business, scale your business, but get the things that can truly empower your life. And Tony and I have been working on some incredible things to get a starter, to get you in the game. Again, so many of our family members are a part of Mastermind here. And for you guys, there's nothing you need to do. for you guys, everything we do from this point forward, things like this, or we add, and you're going to see some cool stuff you already have, or we're going to add to your back office. So Mastermind family members, you could just let everybody know what you think about the family. For those of you that might be joining us for the first time, or you'd like to get Gigi, you'd like to get more of this, I want to tell you the package we've created for you today. And I'm going to give a little spoiler alert. You can get started for about $1 a day. And it's called the Mastermind Success System. This is the process to get you guys in the game. Thank you so much for our Mastermind family, right? It's called the Mastermind Success System, and I'd like to break it down for you because it's pretty darn cool. I always like to start with the things that you need to be successful, to make 2025 predictable. Number one, you need to immerse yourself. Number two, you need repetition. If not, you can learn the language, you don't practice it, you forget it. Number three, you have to implement. And number four, I'd love for you to stay a part of this incredible community, okay? So let's start because we put all of those things together for you. So this is pretty cool. On February 12th, I'm going to do a 1-day virtual mastermind. We're calling it the New World Mastermind. And what I want to do, we're spending 3 hours together. It'll be a longer day and really give you the blueprint of some next level success habits, but also give you the blueprint to create your first mastermind. I hope you create it beforehand. Again, those of you, I just want to tell you, those of you who are part of Mastermind, you don't have to do anything. We're going to invite you to this event. You're part of our family. That's what it means to be a part of our family, okay? But for those of you that aren't, this is that day that we're going to immerse yourself, to get the blueprint, to get that mastermind going, to get out of your own way, to become unstoppable, to collaborate with these incredible people, be with like-minded people, and break through the fear, break through the self-doubt, and live into who you're meant to be. It's going to be an amazing day. February 12th, you're not going to want to miss it. You will leave that on fire. You will leave it with things to do. You will leave it with the blueprint and know for a fact that will be your launching pad. Next, you're going to get an entire year access to the Mastermind platform. Now, sometimes when you share a platform, you can overwhelm people. I'm just going to be honest with you because we try to do so much in there, but we live by the flow of we want to create simplicity on the other side of complexity. That's our whole goal and our whole ambition. So let me tell you just some of the few things you get inside Mastermind. Number one, and this is the repetition part, you get a brand new course every single month. It's a mini course. We film them here. You get amazing things from Krista Mayshore on how to attract and create attitude and attraction with a success mindset. You get Elegant Influence by Carissa Kuchos. You probably don't know who these people are, but you will lose your mind when you know how to, maybe want to learn how to create a winning podcast or how to take your business and your brain power to the next level or create a new community or learn how to speak on stage. So many incredible monthly trainings that we want to create things that empower your life. And plus you got access to over 60 that are on demand from our library, okay? Again, if you're in Mastermind, you have all this stuff. If not, we want to create something special so you don't miss out. So we can work together all year long. Also, you get a live training every month. We call it our Inner Circle. Been doing this for almost 15 years. I love seeing so many of your beautiful faces every month. I get to do cool. I did 4 last year with Matthew McConaughey. I have to say, he's a pretty cool dude, and we had a blast. But we don't just talk about stuff. We talked about journaling. We talked about how to tell stories, how to communicate in a great way. Any speaker I come on, Marie Forleo, is how to ask for help so you can move forward, right? I do trainings on how to overcome mistakes and keep moving forward and all the things that I wish someone would have taught me earlier in life to stay plugged in. So this is more of the repetition. Yeah, I love McConaughey too. He's a cool dude. So the repetition, mini course every month. You got a library of them. You got me live every month, plus you can go back 5 years of my trainings. I promise every topic you can think of is there. You get your very own AI guide, and that is Gigi. You got to see a little glimpse of her. Again, family members falling in love with Gigi. She's freaking awesome. She's getting smarter every day. She's trained to think and answer just like Tony and I. That's really what it is, and she gets smarter every day. You get access to her all year long. This alone, if you look at some of the great AIs out there, it's $99 a month just for this. That's the price, of course. That's not what you're going to get today. You also have the opportunity to build your own community, right? This is not the full Mastermind business system, but we carved out an area where you could build a cool community. And this is where you start a group or start a community, and it shows you how you can build a group of humans that turn into a mastermind or turn into a workshop, okay? And also you get access to our private mastermind community. I go live there every Monday. I get to see your beautiful comments. I have a blast. It keeps us engaged, but it's a group of incredible humans supporting each other. Most of the times in life, we are turning down our glow for other people. We are limiting we're turning down our goals. We're doing all these things. When you get in this group, this is where you get to be you. This is where you get empowered by other people, where they go, Dr. Wendy, go kill it, Elsie, go kill it, Priya, right? It's an incredible group, and you get to be a part of this amazing family. And of course, we will donate, which we try to do. Tony is already over 1 billion meals. We are tens of millions. Collectively, we get to do this, but almost everything we do, we donate meals through Feeding America, because we want to take our lives to the next level. Some people are just looking for a meal. So we like to attach ourselves to something like that. So let me share what you get really quick. You get the New World Mastermind that's happening on February 12th. It is going to be unbelievable to kickstart this next level of being unstoppable and the blueprint for creating a mastermind, which you all should do. Even if you want to do a free one, it'll empower your life. You get new courses released every month. You get live training event every single month with me. And these are the prices we used to sell these separately for, but now it's all a part of the mastermind family. You get Gigi all year long. You get the simple tools to guide and launch your own group and community. And you get our private community. You get to be a part of the family. It is a $7,000 value in the old days. And here's what we're doing today during the new year training that we get to be together. I really would love all of you to be a part of this, to stay plugged in, to not just be inspired today, but how do we work together all year long for $1.15 a day? So right now you can go to getmmsuccess.com, getmmsuccess.com, and you can get enrolled for $1.15 a day. And I want to be really clear. If you're in Mastermind, if you're a part of our family, there is nothing to do, and we are going to give you the ticket to the event. So there's nothing to buy here. And this is what you see. Those of you that aren't part of Mastermind, you see how we treat this incredible family. They have faith in Tony and I in this group. We want to over-deliver. We want to give you the capabilities to thrive. So can't buy anything today, but if you're not in the group, this is one of the best opportunities. This is an event-only price. This event is next month. So if you're not in this group, you won't get a ticket to that event and some of the other bonuses. And one more thing to hopefully push you over the edge. If you're a Mastermind member, you get that. Is this. Pull this up. Yes, we have an epic bonus. I have a course, most of you that are part of the family have gone through it, called my Accelerated Success Formula. This is a course that was my best-selling course for 5 years straight. Then I did it over, and it was a best-selling course for a couple more years. It was a $500 course. I love it. And now, for those of you who get enrolled today, we will gift that course. We'll put it in your back office. Again, if you're part of Mastermind, it's in there. So here's what we'll do. Let's take a quick little break. I gotta go literally drink some tea and honey and get a little cough drop. We'll take like a 7 or 10 minute break. For those of you in Mastermind, empower other people. Go get a drink. Those of you that aren't, this is an incredible time to say, yes, I'm staying plugged in. You could spend a coffee a day is probably $4 or $5 a day. This is $1.15 a day to be plugged in with us, to be plugged in with this community, to get Gigi, to get a course, to get monthly training. We created the thing that Tony and I wish we had when we started. GetMMSuccess.com. Get all these pieces, and we'll see you here in about 10 minutes, and hopefully my voice will be a little better. And as soon as you're in, if you're already in, say I'm in. If you get registered today, say I'm in. I'd love to see it in the chat. I'll see you here in a few minutes. Don't miss the rest of the day. We're going to set goals that stick, and also going to share with you something I've never shared before. So don't miss one bit. We'll see you back here in about 10 minutes. Welcome back. Hey, Carolyn. Good to see you, Nancy. All right, if you're away from your computer, come on back. If you hear my scratchy voice, it's getting better. Pounded some tea, ate a couple cough drops. I think we're good to go. Those of you that said yes today, so excited to have you a part of this family. And so many of you that are already here, already a part of the family. Thank you for the beautiful comments. We can't wait to launch this year together, to stay connected, to stay plugged in. It really is something spectacular. This next segment here, today, like I said, we're going to set goals that stick. I'm going to share what I believe is my biggest breakthrough on how we prioritize and get things done. But first, there's a training that I absolutely love from one of our team members. His name is Nate. And Nate is, for those of you who have met Nate, he's one of the coolest dudes on the planet. He's got that McConaughey energy, right? And he started right where you are. He was in the real estate space and then wanted to be a speaker and then became an educator. He's been going at this for 20 years, been in the education space, the self-knowledge industry, or the knowledge industry for 13 of those 20. Extremely successful business, generates, significant amount of money. He's just a great guy, and we're so glad to have him as one of our facilitators here at Mastermind, one of our trainers. And this training, the reason I wanted to have this, it's 15, 20 minutes. But this training is a result of something he went through. He went through an incident in his life, which have we all gone through stuff in our life? And it's so powerful because not all of us are in a bad spot right now. So I want you to know this was him going through something, and then he found this exercise. And it's so good. I've done it every time I watch him. I do it, and it's so freaking good. And it really snapped him out of it. So if you're not going through something, do it because it'll accelerate you. And if you are, what a great way to get through it. So could we bring up the energy a little bit and give a warm, warm welcome to Nate.
Thank you, Dean. Right on. Thank you, everybody. So kind, so grateful to be here. Excellent. Life inevitably sends us these moments where the predictability goes away and you feel broken and lost. Where everything that you thought was secure and safe all of a sudden is unpredictable. And your confidence is hijacked by fear. And your hopes are hijacked by doubt. And just a few years ago, I was in the middle of one of these experiences. The type of things that it's like the hard edge of life. The edge where you see other people going through these moments and your heart breaks and you're like, man, I'm glad that's not me. When you ask, I wonder if I could make it through that. And sometimes it's because of choices we make. Other times, life chooses us to go through these experiences. Raise your hand if wave into the camera if you've ever been into one of those. Probably more than one. And this came at a completely unexpected time. My life was trending exactly as I planned it. Everything was working. My health was great. My family was great. My finances were great. My relationships were meaningful. And then all of a sudden, the bubble popped. And I was left scrambling to pick up the pieces. It was during this time that I got a phone call from a longtime friend and someone who had coached me, a mentor. And she said, Nate, we're running this event down in Phoenix, and it was all full. For months, we've had this thing full. And we had someone drop out last minute. And I don't know why, but your name came to mind. And I just felt like I needed to call you and tell you you needed to be there. Now, this was about the last thing that I ever wanted to do at that moment in life. Mostly at that time, I was feeling sorry for myself. I wanted to blame the world and blame other people for the problems I was in. And the last thing I wanted to do was go spend a week in a workshop that was pointing the finger at me and telling me that I needed to improve. But I remembered this phrase that one of my mentors had shared with me many years ago. He said, The help you need the most is almost always found in the place you least want to look. I'm going to repeat that because it was a big one for me to hear. The help you need the most is almost always to be found in the place you least want to look. I certainly didn't want to look inside for the solution to my challenges. I wanted somebody else, something else to solve my problems. And so my immediate reaction to that invitation was, thank you, that's very kind, probably not going to work out. And I used some lame excuse like we all do. When we know we should do something, I think I probably blamed it on time. I don't have the time, it's last minute. This was like a Thursday, and it was starting the next Monday. But then I had that feeling, you know the feeling? That feeling where you know something's right, and gosh, it calls you to it, and you don't want to go, but you know you need to go. And that was the feeling, that little intuition that my mentors had taught me about and coached me on for many, many years. And now I was in the challenging position of actually having to follow through on what they taught me. Now, there was 1,000 reasons not to go. There was the last-minute plane fare. There was the hotel for a week. There was spending a week away from my family at a time when I really wanted to be near them. There was the car to rent, and not to mention the $10,000 tuition that I had to pay to go attend the event. And at that point in my life, I was not flush with cash. I mean, this was a very stressful financial time for me and my family. And so I had the temptation to back away, but I followed that intuition, and I told her, all right, I'm in. And I signed up for the class. She sent me the order form. I enrolled, and I was like, we'll figure it all out later. Anyone ever done that? It's just, you know it's right, you commit to it, and you just figure out the details later. Wave in the camera if you've ever done that. Yeah. It's challenging. It's scary. And I remember that fear, and as soon as I paid for it, I was like, what am I doing? What am I doing? Then I buy the ticket. What am I doing? And so I make my way down to Arizona, and I arrive wounded. I was putting on this air of confidence that was totally fake. Nobody knew what was going on in my life at the time. I was insecure. I felt like an imposter. I felt like I didn't belong. A few of the people in that class had known me through the grapevine, and they had all these questions about the big things I was supposedly doing, and I had to kind of evade the reality because I was scared to admit what was really happening. And as I sat down that first day, I was like, why am I here? But it was too late. I was already committed. So I went full send, and I dove in, and what a transformational weekend. It taught me so many tools. Like many of you, you know what it's like when there's an edge that you have to step off of to get the growth that you need. And that was what I needed. And the entire week was magical. It was aha after aha, life-altering subjects that I learned, and tons of work, interior work, and just transformational. And it all led up to this one point on the last day where the leader of that course, he said to us something, I'm going to paraphrase his thoughts, something to the effect of, there are constantly voices all around us. Everywhere. Your parents, your teachers, your preachers, on Instagram, on Facebook, on podcasts, in books, on television, your friends, your neighbors, they're everywhere. And all of these voices, some of them are well-intentioned, others more devious. And so often we allow those voices to control the course of our life. And he said to us, the most important person you can learn to take advice from is you 12 months in the future. Because that person knows exactly how you need to act right now to build the type of life that you'd be proud of, the type of life that you'd be passionate about, the type of life that you would look back on, even though it was filled with mistakes, but you'd be proud of being alive instead of regretful that you backed away. And he encouraged us to learn to listen to that voice. And he said, at all times, that voice can tell you exactly how to act. Before you take advice from anyone else in your life, learn to hear that voice of you a year in the future. That voice that looks back and tells you, this is the decision to make. This is how to act. This is how you trust yourself. Why is that voice so powerful? Well, it's simple. It already knows your fears. It already knows the things that you doubt. It already knows your insecurities. And it's already made its way through those insecurities. And that voice, that person, that he or she can look back at you and say, this is exactly how you act right now. And that was something for all my years of personal development work and, gosh, thousands of hours of classes and books and courses, and having spent, I don't know how much money, invested how much money in mentors and maps and guys like Dean's talking about. The right map, the right guide can get you to where you want to go. That was an insight I don't remember ever actually latching onto. And it hit deep. And he offered us an exercise. He goes, grab your pens and grab a piece of paper right now. And you're going to transport yourself 12 months into the future. And you're going to be the you of a year from now. And you're going to write yourself a letter looking backwards. And this letter is advice, guidance, inspiration, and accountability about how you need to act now to become that person that you can be 12 months from now. Now, there's going to be the situation you're in. Tell yourself about it. There's going to be the challenges that you face individually. Only you know them. Write about it. And that person, that you, 12 months in the future, he or she knows how you got through those doubts, how you got through those fears. He knows what you told yourself. He or she knows the decision you made at the most important time that actually unlocked the opportunity that you've been waiting for. He or she knows the people that you're supposed to surround yourself with, the people that you're supposed to not listen to, the decisions that would build you and also potentially can warn you about the laziness and complacency that could be destructive in your life. And so he had us grab a piece of paper and we wrote ourselves a letter. And here it is. Here's mine. I've held this letter. Everywhere I go, I keep this letter. Because what he did is he had us write the letter, and then we turned it into him, and he said, I'm going to send you this letter in 1 year. And watch what happens to your life in 1 year if you follow the advice that you write down. You might think that what you write down is going to be impressive. It pales in comparison to what can be if you cast a vision and then act in alignment with that letter. And here it is. This is written, you know, when people have PowerPoints, they give you those notebooks with like the slide and the place. Here it is. This is my letter. And this singular exercise transformed the direction of my life. It was if like this vision of what could be came into my soul, and it just came out on paper, and it all felt so natural. It felt so true. And so I wrote about it. I wrote about the doubts. I wrote about the fears. I wrote about the tears. I wrote about my insecurities and how I wish that I would have done better or chosen better, but that I still had the chance to act. And that by taking the correct action at the right time with the right people, a year from now, I wouldn't even be able to recognize myself and recognize my life. And I finished it, and I turned it in like he told us to. Partway hopeful. I'll be honest, I was a little bit doubtful because I hadn't done the work yet. And I turned it in, and I kind of forgot about it. But I didn't forget how I felt. And I didn't forget the commitment I made to myself and to the people around me to act in the way that I had written. I didn't forget the commitment to be decisive when the opportunity to act and the opportunity to grow and expand was in front of me. I wrote down, like, I will move towards that thing, even though it might be scary, and even though I can't guarantee what's going to happen. I will move towards that thing. I wrote down, there are people that only I can bless. Only my experience can bless them the way it can. And if I play small, they suffer. I wrote that down. And the week-long immersion development camp ended, and I got on the plane and I flew back to Utah, and I did so with a lightness, with an energy that was new. And I started doing what I wrote. And I completely forgot about the darn letter until a year later, this envelope showed up in the mail. My wife, Trina, she was like, Nate, that's your handwriting. What? And she handed it to me, and I looked at the address. I'm, what in the world? And then it hit me that this was the letter I had written to myself 1 year ago. And I opened it up, and as I sat at my kitchen table, I wept. I wept because I never imagined that even half of what I wrote down would come true. But more than I ever wrote became. And more importantly than the exterior benefits, you could say that life was much more stabilized and better financially and with health. More importantly than that was what I had become during that year. I had listened to me. I had listened to the voice a year ahead of me that knew what I could become. And so this is the exercise that I offer you at this pivotal time in your life. Like, I don't know what's going on with you. There's thousands of you on here. I don't know your individual challenges and the voice of doubt or fear or uncertainty that creeps in and invades your space and has made you play small. For many of you, maybe it's the voice that has helped you play big and that it's asking you to play bigger. Like, I personally don't know what that is, but I do know that the you from a year from now knows. And the you from a year from now knows how you overcome whatever it is that's in your way to become and do the things that only you can become and do. So here's my offer to you. To the thousands of you on a screen and all over the world, I don't know if I'll ever meet any of you, but my heart to yours, here's my offer. Grab your computer and be the you in 2025, a year from now, and write a letter to yourself expressing what decisions you need to make, what doubts you overcame, what people you surrounded yourself with, what challenges you voluntarily accepted into your life, how you expanded beyond your limiting beliefs in a little box that you may have been living in. Write that letter to yourself from the future, telling yourself exactly how to act in the next 12 months. And you will see the vision that you cast will pale in comparison to the reality that you created. So with that is my small offering to you as a beautiful community. To Dean, much gratitude for having put this together, for all of the presenters. It's all about you, our students, and this is your chance to make a beautiful year. With my love, it's been an honor. Thank you. Thank you. Very nice. Thank you, Dean. All right, everybody.
I see you, Maria. What's going on? What's up, Michelle? Alex, what's happening? I see you, Kylie. Christina, what's going on? All right. I love that exercise. It's such a powerful tool. You know what I would say? I want to get to my next part of the training, but I would say don't forget about that exercise. Like tonight, today, this afternoon, write that letter to yourself. You know what you could do? You could take the letter and go hide it someplace and say, set a timer in your phone. Go in your phone and set an alarm, a reminder 1 year from today or 6 months from today. Because it is. I love when he said the best person that could help you through today is you in 12 months of yourself. You in 12 months. Because you're going to go through, and you're going to tell yourself, should I take that chance? Who should I learn from? What capabilities should I do? Those of you that are a part of Mastermind already, what do you need to do to dive back in? To get re-engaged, reconnect, solve the problem, go faster. Those that got enrolled today, you're part of an amazing family with the tools and skills, but you still got to do the work. We can't do it for you. We can do it with you. We can supply you tools, but you got to do the work. You got to do the training. And I would just say, along this journey, write in that letter what you need to succeed, because you know what didn't work in the past. I think it's just such a powerful exercise. All right, who's ready for part 2 of today's training? All right. So, with a little bit of pre-work, I'd love for you to start thinking about, just high level, what does success actually look like for you? Well, I'm just going to plant a seed. What does it look like? You know, I love that if it was a year from now, it was the best year of your life with your career, your income, your health, you know, your love, your relationships, your joy. Here, you know, we're talking about mostly business or career. So you could pick any one you want. But if it was a year from now and it's the greatest year of your life, what does success look like? I like looking through a new lens, because sometimes what success looked like for you 5 years ago is outdated, right? Success along my journey has absolutely changed. I'm guessing it's the same for you, right? Success nowadays is, I want peace. I want to be with my kids. I want to be able to go to practices and games and date night with my wife. You know, I want to be able to come here on a Saturday and be with you awesome people. I want to impact lives. Like, lots changed from what I wanted in my 20s and what I wanted in my 30s. So we're not setting goals right now, but I think starting to think through that lens of what does success actually look like to you. And we're going to dial that in, but I wanted to set that intention, because again, this is not about setting goals today. This is about, I should say, it's not about setting New Year's resolutions. This is about setting goals that stick and become your reality. Okay, let's start. In this process, and this is the process I have done for over a decade, and this is the same thing I teach and the same thing I go through. At the end of the year or the beginning of a new year, I like to look back. So number one, you're going to think, wow, you're starting off on the negative. I like to look back at what went wrong in the last 12 months. What went wrong? What were the failures? What were the misses? What were the regrets? I think it's great to know what worked and what didn't. So let's start with what didn't, right? What didn't work? What did you procrastinate on, right? What did you not even start? What didn't you finish? What did you not actually do all the work on, but you kind of said you did? What did you avoid? You see, I think it's so important to see the holes, because we all have them. And when you recognize them, look at, great, put it in the chat. Believing in the wrong person, right? I love that. Taking too long to step up to my why. I love it. I didn't finish building my business. Distraction is killing me. Giving myself more free time to enjoy life, right? Not taking action. Too much self-doubt. Not starting my business. Thank you for being so honest, everybody. It's how change all happens. Quitting on my program. Priorities. Analysis paralysis. Thinking too much. Health went wonky. Not marketing. Just procrastinating. Didn't launch my program. I quit on myself. I never finished. Imposter syndrome. Focus. Afraid. Loss of focus. Procrastination. Fear of success. Distractions. Not getting into mastermind. Not giving myself permission. Survival mode. Not remaining confident or consistent. See, isn't it cool to see you're not alone? That we're not the only one that feels this way. So that's why I love doing something like this. So maybe we can find a new way around these of thinking small and not knowing my number or not knowing my worth or spending too much time on the wrong things. That's okay. It's okay. This is a great time of year to look at those. And here's what I would tell you. Feel the procrastination. Feel that you let yourself down. Feel that you made mistakes for just a few minutes. And then let's throw it away because it doesn't serve you anymore. When we went over January 1st, it's like a new line in the sand. I said this 10 years ago. I'm going to say it to you. Let's look at last year. Like everything you did, there's a little building, right? And in that wall, and in that building, there's shelves. And your whole year is on the shelves. And you get to walk into this building and go, that was a procrastination. I'm going to leave it there. Oh, that was something that didn't go right. Oh, I let myself down. And we're going to get to the next one is the things that went right you could take with you. You could take lessons from what you didn't learn. And you can leave all of last year in that building and lock it with 6 deadbolts on it and never have to go in it again. You can let the past be in the past. Take the lesson from it and move on. The only reason we should know what didn't work is we don't want to repeat history. Isn't that true? When people say just focus on your goals. No, you got to focus on the pitfalls. You got to focus on what didn't go right, don't you? You have to be aware of where you could get stuck again, where you could fall into fear, where you could fall into procrastination. Listen, we've all been through these issues and pieces, but it's good to really acknowledge them and say no more. So think about what went wrong and say, okay, it doesn't feel great to procrastinate. It doesn't feel good that I missed it. It didn't feel good that I finished. It didn't feel good that I didn't prioritize. It didn't feel good that I let fear get in. Okay, but that was last year. That's done. That's over. I will not allow that to happen in this new year. So the reason I want you to acknowledge them is I want you to have a statement that says, not this year. Put that in the chat. Put that in your journal. Not this year. And all of us are on different levels. But I guarantee there was a few things that held you back that you could say, I'm not allowing that this year. Thank you, guys. You guys are so freaking awesome. Just remember as you're writing that down, what doesn't work for us is actually getting us closer to what we desire. Just remember the light bulbs. 1,000 wrong light bulbs got us to the light bulb. Take what serves you. Throw the rest away. Figure out what you can learn from those issues. Throw the rest in the garbage. Let go of regret and disappointment. It's just part of the journey. As my partner and friend Tony Robbins says, what if it all happened for us, not to us? Maybe you were supposed to procrastinate last year. Maybe it was supposed to not work out last year because this is your year. Make sense? All right, you can turn that music down. I love that. Great energy for the music, Scott. Good job. All right, number 2, if we address and focus on what didn't go right, you're probably thinking, why would you start off on the negative? Because I want to get that stuff out of the way. Now, this is the part we usually don't do for ourselves, is we need to list what went right in the last 12 months of our lives in 2025. What went right? Right? Thank you, Maddie. What went right? Because we can definitely beat ourselves up on what went wrong, can't we? But when's the last time you patted yourself on your back for the things you actually did right? You forget to do that. So here's what I would say. Make a list of your accomplishments. What did you achieve in the last 12 months? Again, we'll see the misses, but you don't write down the wins. And if you think of those wins as building blocks, then you'll realize that you had to go through all of this to stack on top of each other. Some of you became a part of Mastermind. Some of you got your first thing done. You got your first sale done. They're just building blocks. Each micro win can build your courage and your confidence if you acknowledge them. If you blow right past them, some of you took the uncomfortable action to say yes to you. Some of you took the uncomfortable action to say someone in your family, I'm doing this. I love you. I know it might be weird to you, but I'm doing that. That's a win. Some of you went live for the first time. It's the micro wins. Some of you have laid out your course, laid out your coaching program, launching a mastermind. Some of you have memberships. Some of you are thinking about the memberships. Some of you started working with Gigi. Some of you are watching a course every single month. You're joining me live. Tens of thousands of you join me live every month in our Inner Circle training. They are all micro wins because you're doing something different. You're gaining skills and capabilities. And when you look at it that way, it should build your courage. It should build your confidence because you're just one step closer to that winning light bulb, that next level of you. And once we start doing that and we start acknowledging them, then you start thinking, wow, I did get more done than I thought. And start writing them down. You can write them in the chat or you can put them just either way or put them in your journal. But once you acknowledge them, then you could say, hey, that actually went pretty good. How do I add more fuel to that? How do I add more energy to that? How do I do that more? Wow, when I did that one video, it did this. When I did this, it did. When I went and spoke on stage, I got so many people who followed me. When I raised my hand, I actually got sales. Whatever that is, you need to acknowledge, oh, that happened here, that happened here, that happened here. How do I do more of that? How do I make it better? How do I adjust it? How do I tweak it? See, if we look at 2025, 24 to 25 is like this definitive line. We leave the stuff that doesn't serve us, the things that went wrong, the things that didn't work out, we learn from, but we leave them over on the other side of the line. When we find the things that went right, we cross the line and we drag them into the new year. Right? Even if it's heavy, you get 2 feet grit and you drag it into this new year, then you open up that box and go, hey, this worked pretty good, Gail. Let's do more of that. Hey, this is a great way to communicate. I'm going to do more of that too. Now, all of a sudden, we got this blueprint of what works and what doesn't. It's just like marketing, right? We put out an ad. If it works, pretty good. We try to make it better. If it doesn't work, sometimes we throw it away. Same thing with life. Take what serves you. Empower it. Polish it. Put gas. Put jet fuel to it. But you got to throw away what didn't serve you. Make sense? These wins, these micro wins, I promise you. So many times our brain says, hey, I wanted to create a monthly membership to make me $10,000 a month. I'm just making that up. And until I get there, I'm not successful. Man, you're never going to get there. You got to realize saying yes to yourself was a micro win. Getting enrolled and being engaged in our family and community, being here today, laying out, go play with Gigi and lay out your curriculum. Do your first video. Build the first opt-in page. Hit your merchant account hooked up. Or whatever it is you're doing. Each one of those is a micro win. And guess what the byproduct of micro wins are? Oh, wow. I got my first sale today. Oh, wow. I'm doing 10 sales a month. It's the byproduct of the small wins as long as you acknowledge them. Because other people will go, hey, I'm still not at 10 grand a month. I'm a failure. No, you're on your way to that if you remind yourself of the journey. Make sense? So one is what didn't go well, leave it. Learn from it, leave it. What went well, bring it with you, empower it, and fuel it, right? Number 3, what stories or thoughts held you back in the last year? See, there's physical things I've done. I tried this thing and it broke. I tried this thing, it didn't work out. Or I tried this thing and it worked. But can our thoughts become things? I mean, raise your hand if you think thoughts can become things. Right? So I'd love for you to think about what is a thought that messed with your success in 2024? That's a little different. When I ask my kids this, they're like, what are you talking about? But now they don't think I'm as crazy, right? But I'm like, no, there are thoughts that held you back. What was a common thought when you were trying to do something? I'm not good with technology. I don't have time. Maybe I'm too old. Maybe I'm too young. Maybe it's the wrong time, wrong economy. It takes money to make money. You know, maybe this just isn't for me. Maybe I should just work for somebody else. Who would buy from me? Who would listen to me? Intimidated by social media. Perfectionism. Not enough time and finances. I'm a passenger. I'm not in control. Karen, deep thinking, love that. Every time I try, I fail, Dave. That ain't happening to you this year, brother. I don't understand the business. Not starting, right? I have nothing to add. I'm overcomplicating everything. Overcomplicating simple messages. Others have advantages. I don't. Nobody would listen to me, right? Staying consistent. Too old. Failed. Insomnia. Comparison. Ooh, that's a big one. No one wants to buy from me. Lack of self-esteem. No support. Priorities. Health. Overwhelming debt, right? I'm too tired after dinner to do anything productive. What would others think of me? Ooh, that's a big one. Will I let others down? Can't trust anyone. Lack of self-confidence. Thank you for being so vulnerable and sharing. Can I ask you a question? On a 1 to 10, how much is those no credentials, new level, new devil, fear of family's thoughts? Kylie, I get it. On a 1 to 10, I'd love to share with me. Put a 1 through 10 on how much that story has slowed you down in 2024. Look at that, 10s, a couple of 5s, 9, 9, 10, 7, 8, 8, 11, 11, 9, 8, 7, 10, 10, 10, 8, 9.5, 7, 15, 10, 10, 10, 8, 8s and 9s, 8s and 9s, a 7, a 10, an 8, a 10, a 9, an 8, a 7, a 4. I get it. It could be really strong, right? I got to ask you a question. Let's park that story. I get it. It's all, it means something to us, right? All the things you wrote. But let's park that for a second. I want to have another scenario. Now it's the end of a long life. You're 95 years old. You meet your maker. Your life's over. You meet your maker. And you sit next to him, whatever your beliefs are. And of course, God or your maker has an iPhone. And he plays you a video of the woman or the man you could have been. And he says, how come you didn't live into your full potential, Pauline or Ruby or Joanne? Why didn't you? And you shared that story. Well, I was afraid my family would think I looked weird. I was afraid to fail. I couldn't find the time. And all of a sudden, you could see the disappointment. Say, let's watch that video again of who you could have been. You're like, how did that person, how did I become that in this alternative life? It's like, you overcame those fears. You kept moving forward, but you let that stop you. I think in that moment, you'd be like, wait a minute, I could have been that. I could have been a better version of me, a better example to my kids. Have my husband or my wife look at me through a different lens. People around me to see what I was truly meant to be, not what I was settling to be. I could have had that. Yes, you could have. What would be your number one wish? Put it in the chat. What would be your number one wish? To go back. Right, more time. No regrets. Right? I think, look at another chance. Leave my family legacy to save another person. I wish I would have done it all. Learn from this and move on. Be bold. Go back. Right? If you think of all those, I just want to say, wish granted. Because you're not at the end of your life. You're not 98. You're not talking to your maker. You're here today, right now. You can make that decision today. You can live into that version of you you're meant to be, not settling to be. You can make those choices. Because here's what I know. On a scale to 1 to 10, now, let me ask you this. On 1 to 10, what would it feel like if you got to the end of your life and your maker told you you missed out on the woman you could have been or the man you could have been? What does that feel like on a scale to 1 to 10? Put that in the chat. Right? Yeah. 20s, 20, 11. Feels like crap. 100, right? 100, 10, 19, 100, 10, 10, 200, 1,000, 10, so bad. 10, 10. A 1. Break the scale. Yuck, terrible, right? So now let me ask you something. If you think of some of the things you said, I might look silly in front of my friends. I might fail, a little too old, don't have time, too young. You guys mostly gave that 8, 9s, and 10s, compared to getting to the end of your life and realize you didn't live into your full potential. Now, I want you to go back. What is that first thing? I don't know. What were you saying? Too old, too young. Rate that first one again that you gave 8s and 10s. What is that now? What is that first thing of making your family might look at you silly, right? 0, 0, 0, 3, 2, 2, 0, 3, right? 1, 0, 1, right? Isn't everything about perspective? -5. That was awesome. -9,000. I love that. Becky, right? Who cares? Forgot about it already. Oh, that one's great. Forgot about it already. See, isn't everything perspective? We let things like, I don't think I have time. I feel I'm a little old. What if I look silly in front of my friends? What are my peers going to say? What will my family think? Do you think any of that matters at the end of your life? You're like, I'm worried about my friends. I don't even know who my friends are anymore. I don't even talk to any of them anymore. Right or wrong, I see a victory, or Victoria, right? It's like you don't even know who they are anymore. So my whole point is, that story, too old, no support, time, money, economy, wrong things, wrong people, it's just a story. And I learned that from Tony Robbins almost 30 years ago. That story, that belief, it's already cost you too much. Don't let it cost you another minute of your life. Sound good? You have a different frame on that one? So then the next thing is, how do we craft a new story? Right? How do we craft, and those of you who are part of the Tony Robbins family, he does this better than anyone on the planet. I like just this shortcut here. But how do we flip that story to our advantage? I wrote a book called The Underdog Advantage. It was just a book I wrote really quick and just talked about all the times I looked back in my life and I was the underdog. But I started interviewing all the most successful people I ever met, and they were all underdogs. And what did they do? They just really flipped their story. There you go, Marianne. She got a copy of it. They just flipped the story. I remember when I first started deciding to go into this industry. I'm not going to bore you guys with the story again, but I was in the collision business. I had used cars. I was flipping houses. I was buying, fixing, flipping houses. I had a tow truck company, and I watched Tony Robbins. I'm like, screw it. I'm going in the self-education business. I love it. I want to serve others, grow my business. You can imagine what my family thought. And back then, you had to produce an infomercial and hundreds of thousands of dollars to get started. People thought I was crazy. And I just remember hearing so much, and it almost got to me. I was a millimeter away many times of quitting. I just want you all to know, like, please know I'm not bulletproof. My sister sat me down like an intervention, told me I was crazy. My dad did, my friends did. And I remember the words they were saying is, this isn't for you. You're not Tony Robbins. It takes money to make money. You've never been on TV. You barely got out of high school. You didn't go to college. How could you be a teacher? You're not worth tens of millions of dollars. Who would want to learn from you? Dean, get real. Get smart. Come on. And I remember I used to think to myself, maybe they're right. I'm not that smart. Maybe I can't do it. And now I think back, how do you flip that story? In the book, I call it The Power of You Can't. Whenever I've trained my brain, whenever anybody says to me, you can't now, I'm like, ooh, I can't, therefore I must. So you could take the same story and go, yeah, my family thinks this won't work for me. Or you can go, ha, 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 my family thinks this can't work for me. Aren't they going to feel silly? And guess who has, hold my beer, there we go. Guess who has the power to flip that story? Us. Frederic, I see you. Us. You know, I used to think, hey, you know, I don't have a big company. I don't have lots of money. I'm doing a lot of this on my own. And I flipped that to, hey, they're never going to see me coming. They're going to look for these other people who think are going to be successful, and I'm the sleeper. I'm the one they never see coming, and all of a sudden I drive by them 100 miles an hour, like, who the hell's that guy? It's the underdog over here. Later, boom. I used to think I don't have time. Now I think I have all the time in the world. I just got to do this stuff that moves the needle in my life, not do the stuff that wastes time. And then I used to think about time. I'd say, hey, I want to be the guy that gets the stuff done when no one's watching. When you see someone successful, they do all the work when no one's watching. They don't need applause. They don't need a pat on the back. They're just using their time to move the needle forward. Anybody have friends that say, I want to be super successful when they have extra time? They're binging out on the internet or Netflix or hanging out doing nothing. And then they say, no, it's just not working out for me. Bullshit. Excuse my language. You're not doing the stuff that you need to do when no one's watching, right? I used to think, maybe not having a degree would hold me back. Now I think, hey, because I don't have a degree, I'm just going to work harder to prove myself. Cool. If you have a degree, awesome. I don't. Awesome. Right? You can think to yourself, I'm too old. Or, my time on this earth makes me have way more wisdom. You have knowledge and experience. I have wisdom, depth of transformation. You could reposition this any single way that you want. Does that make sense? So you could say simple things. You could say, I don't know if now's the time. You could shift that to, now is my time. Right? I don't know if this is right for me. This is right for me. You could say, when something goes wrong, I feel the pressure. And you say to yourself, I forgot. I thrive under pressure. Come on, bring it on. I thrive under pressure. I forgot. I used to not, but now I do. Economy shifts. You go, the economy, Gail. Oh my God. You go, I thrive in winter. Down economies, that's when I kick ass because all of you are sitting on your hands afraid. I'm not. I'm out front. You see my taillights? That's right. I don't see yours because I'm out front. Man, when everybody talks and tells me things aren't going right, I shrink. Screw that. I don't dim my glow. When people talk crap, I turn it up so bright their eyes they can't even see. Right? I have ADD. Maybe I'm too distracted. I have ADD. I could work on 6 things at once and you can't. I win. Right? I have dyslexia. Oh man, maybe I can't read. Good, I have dyslexia. I speak in really simple language and I think it affects and impacts people more when I just talk like a normal person. Right? We have the opportunity to take that thing, that story that we thought was our weakness, and actually make it the thing that empowers us. If you guys don't already have it, if you're in Mastermind or you decide today to be a part of Mastermind, I'll have the team put my book, The Underdog Advantage. I'll get the digital copy and the audio copy, and we'll put it inside Mastermind so you guys have it. Cool? We'll make sure, because a bunch of people were asking about the book. And my team has got a little sign here. I want to take 2 minutes. I made you guys, like I said, more than half of you around the world are a part of our Mastermind family. You do nothing except enjoy this, see what it's like to be a part of this family. We're going to serve you all year long. Those of you who have joined, welcome. Those of you who didn't, you had some great questions come in. And I want to just take 2 minutes before we get into my brand new success formula that I can't wait to share with you guys. I'm not overhyping it. I think it's really good. If it's not, you guys can tell me, but I think it's really good. But I want to answer a couple of questions I may have missed because I was in a zone. So number one, when is the event? It is February 12th. I thought I said it, but if I missed it, it's February 12th, and it's going to be a longer version of this. It will be myself. It will be Nate Harris, who you met. And not only are we going to help you anchor in some of these foundations for success, but we're going to give you the blueprint to start and launch a mastermind. I know that training is inside the back office. You got Gigi, but an immersive day where we get the work done. Who's up for an immersive day to build your mastermind? Free or paid? So that's exactly what we're going to do. And if you don't think you want to be in this industry, you still should build a mastermind for whatever you want to do. You want to be a better parent? Have a mastermind with women that are all, or men that are all parents and they're all being better parents, right? You want to better your career. Get like-minded people, all grow. Collective wisdom in the room is the fastest way to grow, and it's the fastest way to thrive in this business, I believe. Add on, start there. The other question was, is my access to Gigi limited? No, not at all. Yes, there is a higher level at Mastermind. If you guys turn this into a real business, we have the Mastermind business system, But for starting, there is no restrictions. You get everything Gigi. You saw what everybody was freaking out. If you're in Mastermind, you know how badass Gigi is, and she's getting smarter every day. We got people saying she's my best friend. She gave me a recipe. She built my course. Like, it's amazing what's happening with that. So you have unlimited access, and there's no limit to how much you can use her. What can I actually build inside Mastermind? In this group, you have the opportunity to build a group and a community. Inside, you have all the technology, all the pieces, everything you need. Like I said, if you want to build funnels and emails and stuff, you could always upgrade at a later part for a minimal amount and be in the full system. When will this offer close? Truthfully, in the next couple days. You'll see. You'll get an email. We'll close down because then we're getting ready for the February event, right? We create bonuses truly to get you to say yes, to take action. That's why we make it limited, because sometimes you go, oh, next year. Oh, maybe I'll get it done. Maybe I'll be a part of that family, right? We know that if we do an amazing price with an amazing offer with amazing bonuses and it goes away, we can get you to take action. And what did I say earlier today? Selling is service. I know if I sell you into this, I know if I sell you into Mastermind today, that you're not alone anymore. You're part of this family. You're part of capabilities. You're learning from the best people on the planet. You have someone to help you 24 hours a day, 7 days a week with Gigi and so many other trainings. We get to be together like this every single month, all year long. I would be doing you a disservice at this price. Years ago, I used to charge $1,160 a year just for Inner Circle. Anybody, some of you have been with me for a decade. You guys used to pay $97 a month just for Inner Circle. That's baked in there. So is all the other stuff. Nothing out there is like this. And again, a couple asked, what if I'm already a Mastermind member? Do nothing. It's all yours. So I hope that helps. I hope I answered your questions. If you have more, you can ask the team. All right, you guys ready for the last segment? We do this nice and strong. Okay, so let's pick one area. I asked you before, what does success mean to you? What does success mean to you? Somebody said having Gigi is like having ChatGPT, kind of Shelly, but Gigi thinks like Tony and I. If you go to ChatGPT and ask a question, it will be a completely different answer than if you ask Gigi, because our team has had her think like us. She's read and listened to every single thing Tony and I have done and taught for decades. So you get an answer through our lens. It's actually almost weird when I ask it and it tells me back things that I would say. So that is the difference. This is unique. You can't get it anywhere else in the world, right? So I just figured I'd share that. Okay. So I asked you what success looked like. I want you to pick one area for me. So think about just one area and one goal. Think about one goal that is really important to you guys right now. And I want to share this. Let's go to the whiteboard. It's going to be sloppy, but I'm going to do it with you. I picture it in a triangle. Almost like a pyramid. So if you pick a goal, what is that one goal? That one thing you would love to achieve in the next, say, 6 months? If you want to put it in the chat, you can. Thank you, Rhonda. I appreciate you. Thank you, Shelly. Quitting work. Making my website. Full course, transformative therapist. Finish my book. Love it. Finish my website. Write my book finally. Love it. Launch my program. Get a course up. My first workshop. Making 50K. My book. My launching. My course. 350K. Launched. Right. Love all this. Okay? Keep going. Keep writing it. I want you to think about. This is lots of books and lots of thinking, and looking back what allowed me to be successful. So I'm going to give you a little business advice, goal advice. It's all baked in together. So I'd love for you to think about, if this is your goal, somebody said 350K, quit job, launch, impact, right? So many great things coming in. Book. Sorry, it's sloppy. So there's all that goal. I would love for you to think of 3 things to start. What are 3 top needle-moving things? You can just start thinking, don't write them down yet. 3 top needle-moving things that could bring you towards that goal faster. And when you think about 3, I want you to think, for just this lesson, what is the number 1 thing out of the 3 that you could do to move you towards that goal of writing the book, launching your program, right? Of getting the 350K, to quit the job, to impact the life, to launch your program or course? Start putting it in the chat. Commit the time. Start marketing. Alexandra, right? Okay, so top action, right? Could be top needle mover, but it's got to be the thing. You already know. Get shit done. Find a ghostwriter. 5-day challenge once a month. Persistence, workshop. Build out the website and funnels. Take small actions every day. Burn the boats. Active, right? Eliminate distractions. 5-day challenge. Freaking love this. Love this. Monthly workshops, right? Become visible. Get organized. Create my mastermind. Update my funnel. This is so cool. Love seeing these come in, right? So sometimes when someone says, I don't know why I'm not done. Do you ever really ask somebody and go, but if you had to know why it's not getting done? That is one of my lessons with my son, my 16-year-old. He'll say to me, I don't know how to do that. I always say to him, well, what if you had to know? I don't know. But what if you had to know? I'm not sure. What if your life depended on it? Boom, he'll give me the answer. I'm like, you knew. You know what you need to get done to move you towards that goal. Don't you, Gail? Don't you, Kelly? Don't you, Eric and Andy? Lori? Carla? Diane? You know, right? So what I want to share with you, the reason I've been thinking through this lens is 150 employees here, 300 employees here. I'm narrowing this down. I'm teaching this. This is all next week. My calendar is booked. I'm going through every leader in my company and I'm teaching them this. This is something I've never taught before because I want to simplify and I want to help people get things done faster, quicker, and easier. So if you know your goal and you know the top needle mover, okay, the next thing I want you to think about is what are the constraints? What are the constraints, the problems that would stop you from doing it? What would stop you from launching the mastermind? Stop you from finishing the book? Put it in the chat. What's stopping you? Remember, it's just one goal, one top action, and what is the top constraint, right? Self-doubt, perfectionism, time, mindset, right? Clarity, known technology, fear, me, right? So I'm going to go right to the next one. If you know that thing, that constraint that's stopping you, what capabilities, person, or education do you need to overcome it? Who can help? What do you need? Right? We talked about it today when you're saying fear, procrastination, some of the right mindset level we talked about getting to the end of our life and realize we missed it. Whatever it takes to put in your toolbox, you have to get those capabilities or the person or the education to overcome those constraints so you can take that top action and so you can accomplish your goal. Does that make sense? And then the last part. Ready? Action and deadline. Action and deadline. I don't know, maybe it's just me. I can only get things done when I have a deadline. Just a fact. And everybody's built different. My daughter's a lot like me. If she has homework due on a Monday, I know for sure my daughter's up at 11 o'clock at night on a Sunday getting it done. She'll get it done, but she's getting it done when the deadline's there. Yeah, there you go. Sonia, same as me. My son, I don't know where he came from. If he has homework done on Monday, he comes home Friday after school, knocks it out so he doesn't have to worry. He's comes from a different mold than me. I'm a deadline person. Raise your hand if you need a deadline to get stuff done. Right? So we have to say, what actions do I need to take? Write it down. What actions do you need to take? What action do you need to gain the skills and capability or the person or the education or the accountability so you can bust that constraint or the problem so you can take that top action to reach your goal? And don't let anything get in your way. You see what happens? This is simple thinking. This is first principle thinking. What gets in the way is, you know I have this top action, but should I work on marketing today? Should I work on Instagram? Should I work on Facebook? Should I work on my funnel? Should I work on the curriculum? No, 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 no. You picked one top action. Don't do anything until you accomplish that. You already know what it was because you were writing like crazy. So you need to stick with that action and nothing replaces it until it's done. Because there's only a couple of problems holding you back from achieving it. And there's capabilities and people and education that can help you kill that. And then if you take action with a deadline, then you start knocking these problems out one at a time. And you get this constraint killed. And you accomplish this needle mover. And it brings you one step closer to that goal. And then you replace it with the next thing. Because what I realize is we can all become ADD. And we got here's what I told somebody on my team yesterday, because I started teaching it yesterday to my team members. I said, when you open up, and Eric, I see you agreeing, if you got like 7 things going on at once, I picture like 7 snails going across the desert. Like you're trying to get this done, and then you're trying to get this done, and a little bit here, and a little bit here, and a little bit here. And these 6 snails are just going slowly because you're not focusing deeply on any of them. I said, compress them all into one, make it a rabbit, and get it done. And then when you're done with that one thing, come back, grab the next thing, make it a rabbit, pursue it. Action, deadline, gain capabilities, gain the skills. Get after this, bust this constraint, take that top action, and when you look back, you will be at your goal. Making sense? Guys, I want to tell you, this is my 12th, 13th, or 14th year. I don't even know, but this is my most favorite crowd ever. Over 10,000 people from over 100 countries around the world. And I just want to tell you, the 14 different, you have the opportunity, right? The 14 different life lessons weren't something I just came up with overnight. It took me years to craft those and figure those out. You wrote them in your notes. Go back to them. And you don't have to do them all at once. Pick a few that move the needle the most in your heart and implement them in your life. In 2025, commit to creating a mastermind, even if it's just a group of people that are similar mind, because I promise you it moves the needle more than anything. Hence the reason we spent $600,000 to buy mastermind.com and start this company. It is the needle mover. And together we can make masterminds cool. You had the opportunity, if you're not, to be a part of Mastermind at an incredible price. To get GG, to be a part of the New World Mastermind that we're doing, right? To have the live trainings every single month plus a library, to have GG, to have the library of all the courses we do, to be a part of the community and the Accelerated Success Formula. You have the opportunity to get all that today for $1.15 a day. And what I love about it is if you're a part of Mastermind, you already have the opportunity to take the action, set the deadlines, because you have access to the capabilities, the people, and the education. So we can overcome those constraints. If you could get it someplace else, then I'm going to tell you, go get it. If you haven't, then we'd love to have you as a family member here at Mastermind. It's an incredible group of humans. I want to say thank you for being so incredible. Thank you for this amazing time today. If you're in VIP, you wait about 10 minutes, we'll come back. I'll get some more tea. We're going to do a little Q&A. For those of you on YouTube, for those of you that are here today, thank you. If this is the first time we're meeting, it's an absolute pleasure. I'm glad you stayed the whole 3 hours. It shows me you're not just a talker, you're a doer. So take these lessons, empower them, put them into your life. And if you'd love to join us inside Mastermind, go to getmmsuccess.com. Start immediately. We'll see you inside the family. I'll see you Monday on our weekly lives. And we hope this truly is the absolute best year of your life. Thank you so much. VIP, we'll see you in about 10 minutes. Everybody else, getmmsuccess.com. We'll see you soon.
All that I know is they'll get older. So let us dance this night away. Bodies move to the groove and the light that flickers. We get lost in the crowd, it's getting thicker. We get away from the drinks and chatter. Haven't said a word, but it doesn't matter. Feel the air get thinner. I'm standing in a blurry dream. No one else can see us. Live your life within the moment, moment. And don't go wait until the morning, morning. You never know when it is over, over. All that I know is we'll get older, older. So let us dance this night away. Feel the air get thinner. I'm standing in a blurry dream. No one else can see us. So let us dance this night away.
I've been trying to bend the rules since I barely was walking. I've been trying harder all my life, cause I need to be perfect. If I could just be a little better, maybe you could be my salvation out of here. I can get it off, we are never done. I'm Julian, baby, you are like the sun. For a higher love, fill me to the top. Let me hear that champagne burst and pop. Cause as long as you are here with me, I'll be living, loving, wild and free. I can get it off, fill me to the top. Let me hear that champagne burst and pop. I just give 200% every day cause I own it. I'm fighting all of my life, I'm bad and I know it. If I could just